Chapter 404. Oh, Xiaochen nodded in realization. Do you understand now? So you're giving us a favor? Xia Shibin saw Xiaochen's expression and thought that he was on the right track. What does that have to do with me? I'm not from an aristocratic family, Xiaochen said. I'm just an ordinary student in the school. You guys are too high-end. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not a martial artist either. You guys should manage what you can. You can't control me. You. Xia Shibin was immediately put out by Xiaochen's words, but he really couldn't do anything about it. It was true that he was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and many martial artists and aristocratic families were afraid of them. However, Xiaochen wasn't a martial artist, and he wasn't from an aristocratic family. If he didn't care about him, he really couldn't do anything about it, because he wasn't under his jurisdiction at all. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin wanted to say something, but he saw Xiaochen say lazily, "What's the matter? If there's nothing, I'm going back. Bye-bye." With that said, Xiaochen returned to the class. Then, he directly patted his table and said, "Young Tan, are you done? Class is about to start. Are you going to violate the school rules? Privately occupying a classmate's property will be recorded. If it's serious, you will be expelled. You're ruthless. Wait and see." Yang Tan looked at Xiaochen coldly, stood up, and turned to leave. He knew that in this school, Xiaochen had the right to speak. Otherwise, why would the Shen family stand up for him? Therefore, Yang Tan really couldn't go too far. If he was expelled from the school because of this, where would he put his face? He was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was true that people had to give him face wherever he went, but if they didn't give him face, he couldn't do anything about it. After all, he wasn't doing official business, but private business. Song Huawu was a little puzzled. She looked at Yang Tan's black face and Xia Shibin's indignant and helpless face. She asked curiously, "What did Xia Shibin say to you?" "Nothing much," Xiaochen said. "He said that they are from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and asked me to make things convenient for them." "What about you?" Song Huawu asked. "Ignore them. I'm not a member of the Xiao family, nor am I a martial artist. Why should I care about them? If they have the ability, can they beat me to death?" Xiaochen said indifferently. "Pfft. You're really a dead pig that doesn't fear boiling water." Song Huawu couldn't help but be amused. Then she became a little worried. "All right, you don't say. Young Jiannan is a little narrow-minded. If you embarrass him like this, he might really do something behind the scenes." "Oh, it's fine. Then let the white fox kill him secretly," Xiaochen said indifferently. "What?" Song Huawu was stunned. "Xiaochen, don't mess around. He's the leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and he's even more powerful than me. Don't mess around." Song Huawu was shocked. "His strength is higher than yours, and his identity is there. That Xia Shibin is not a good person. I'm just kidding. As long as he doesn't provoke me. I'm too lazy to care about his business," Xiaochen said. "But looking at his perverted face, he's interested in you, right?" "He has been pursuing me, but I don't like him," Song Huawu said. "Feelings can't be forced. I don't have any feelings for him. Although he's my boss, I don't have any good feelings for him." "Then he's still pestering you. He's really shameless," Xiaochen said. "I heard that you used to pester Shen Jingxian?" Song Huawu glanced at Xiaochen. "Who did you hear it from? Who started the rumor? Is it that Yang Tan?" "I guessed it was him." Xiaochen denied it again and again. Hee. Song Huawu smiled and didn't say anything. However, this kind of thing was hard to say. At least, Shen Jingxian was now White Fox's girlfriend. The previous things were no longer pestering. It could only be regarded as the process of pursuing. Yang Tan sat back in his seat and said to Xia Shibin with a cold face, "What's going on? Why didn't Xiaochen change seats with me? You didn't tell him?" "I did, Brother Yang, but that kid is stubborn. He said that he's not a martial artist, nor is he a member of an aristocratic family. He's not under our management. I can't do anything about him," Xia Shibin said helplessly. "Damn, he's really a difficult guy to deal with. I got it. I'll think of other ways. If it doesn't work, I'll find a chance to frame him and get him out of the school." Yang Tan was furious. "That's fine. But we have to think about it in the long run. This kid's relationship in the school is definitely not weak. We have to have a strategy to deal with him, Xia Shibin said. And you're right, but we can't do it ourselves. This is really a headache. Otherwise, if we send him to the hospital, there won't be so much trouble. Yang Tan had a headache. Right, Brother Yang, why don't we ask the school bully to do it? We can't do it, but we can ask the school bully to send Xiao Chen to the hospital. Then it has nothing to do with us, Xia Shibin said as he rolled his eyes. And good idea. You ask around and find out who the school bully is in this school. Let him find a reason to mess with Xiao Chen, Yang Tan instructed. After class, Xia Shibin went to ask around. After asking around, he found out that there were 2 ruthless people in the high school. One was Yu Xiaochuan. He was very influential in the school, but he didn't come to school these few days because he was researching about the engagement. The other was his classmate Lu Jinming. This person was the child of the secular Lu family. When he heard that he was from an aristocratic family, Xia Shibin was suddenly happy. Originally, he was afraid that the school bully wouldn't cooperate, but now, with his identity, it was impossible for Lu Jinming to not listen to Lu Jinming's orders. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin walked over to Lu Jinming. Lu Jinming had already found Xia Shibin an eyesore. Damn it, he actually dared to threaten his boss Xiao Chen. Lu Jinming was wondering if he should stand up for Xia Shibin. But in the end, this brat came knocking on his door. Lu Jinming, right? Xia Shibin looked at Lu Jinming and said condescendingly, Mother **, where did you come from? How dare you make a fuss in front of Brother Ming? Ma Gangmin immediately stood up and stood in front of Xia Shibin like an iron tower. Pa! An ID was thrown on the table of Lu Jinming. Xia Shibin didn't talk nonsense with Ma Gangmin at all. In his eyes, Ma Gangmin was just a small punk. He was too lazy to deal with him. His level was too low. What do you mean? Lu Jinming picked up the ID with some doubts. When he glanced at it, his face changed. He was also a child of an aristocratic family. Naturally, he knew what kind of organization the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was. So he quickly waved to Ma Gangmen and said, Gangmen, you step aside first. Let this brother sit down and talk. Ma Gangmen was stunned, but he still obediently stepped aside. Xia Shibin casually sat next to Lu Jinming, put away the ID, and said faintly, Lu Jinming, since you know who I am, then cooperate with us to do one thing. Is there any problem? What's the matter? Lu Jinming couldn't help but frown and ask. I won't say those words. Let's be honest. Let Xiao Chen leave this school. Can you do it? Although Xia Shibin was asking Lu Jinming, there was an unquestionable tone in his words. Oh, why? Lu Jinming was stunned. He thought in his heart, sure enough, he came with bad intentions. Why did this guy and Xiao Chen have a conflict? However, Xiao Chen was the boss that Lu Jinming just recognized. It was impossible for him to betray him. After all, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was too far away. These people asked him to do something, but they might not be his own backer in the future. If he turned around and left, he would offend White Fox. He didn't want to do this kind of thing, where the gains did not make up for the losses. However, he didn't dare to refuse outright. He could only think of countermeasures. Then he winked at the thin monkey-like man, coughed twice, and took out his mobile phone. The thin monkey-like man quietly understood, and then interrupted. Brother Ming, who is this person? He is so arrogant. What is his identity? How dare he order you? Lu Jinming, it seems that your underlings are not very obedient. They actually dared to question you? Your management is not very good. Xia Shibin said faintly. Even if you tell them my identity, they won't know. Thin monkey-like man, this is Xia Shibin. He is a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. They are responsible for managing the aristocratic families. So I have to listen to their words. Don't doubt them. Listen to Brother Xia first, said Lu Jinming. Lu Jinming, you are smart. I'll tell you the truth. Our leader Yang, who is Yang Tan, is the leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C. He likes Song Huawu and wants to change seats with Xiao Chen, but Xiao Chen doesn't want to. I don't care what method you use, just make Xiao Chen leave that position. Force him to drop out of school or send him to the hospital, it's up to you. What I want to see is the result, said Xia Shibin. Ugh. But Xiaochen isn't easy to deal with. He also has a backer. Moreover, I don't dare to be rash in front of him. Lu Zhenming said. So I want to ask, is this official business? Can you give me an official letter? If there is anything in the future, I can say that I am doing it for you. Lu Zhenming, aren't you thinking too much? An official letter? Xia Shibin sneered and said, let me tell you, this is Brother Yang's private matter. I will say it now. You have to help, even if you don't want to help. Otherwise, you know the consequences. If you offend me, I will torture your Lu family to death. This, Lu Zhenming said with a bitter face. I will try my best. Okay, that's all. I won't say anything else. Hurry up and settle it for me. Your Lu family is the last family. If you want to keep this position, you have to do it yourself. After Xia Shibin finished speaking, he turned around and left. Lu Zhenming looked at Xia Shibin's back as he left. A sneer flashed at the corner of his mouth. He asked Thin Monkey, did you record it? I recorded it. Thin Monkey nodded. Encrypt a copy and save it in the network disk. Then send a copy to my mobile phone. Lu Zhenming said coldly. How can I be controlled by him? He doesn't know what I used to do, right? I am the young master of the underworld. I am much better than him at playing with these sinister things. Chapter 405. If Lu Zhenming really had a reason to ask for his help, Lu Zhenming wouldn't be able to refuse. But now, he had this evidence in hand. Xia Shibin couldn't do anything to him. As long as he submitted the evidence to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Xia Shibin would probably be punished internally and kicked out directly. Gangmen, go and let Xia Shibin listen to this on my phone. Lu Zhenming gave the phone to Ma Gangmen. Hee okay brother Ming. Ma Gangmen smiled and walked to Xia Shibin and Yang Tan with the phone. Xia Shibin didn't expect Ma Gangmen to follow him the moment he came back. He said with some doubts, you guys settled it? Did you find a plan to deal with Xiao Chen? Xia Shibin, right? Our brother Ming wants you to listen to this. As Ma Gangmen said this, he pressed the play button on the phone. The words that Xia Shibin had just said came out, which made Xia Shibin's face change immediately. What do you mean? Quickly delete it. Xia Shibin was a little angry. He glared at Ma Gangmen and shouted, what do you want to do? Why should I listen to this? Oh, there's no point in deleting it. Brother Ming has already backed it up and handed it to a proper person for safekeeping. I just want you to listen to it. If you want to delete it, feel free. Ma Gangmen said with a blank expression. F***ck. Xia Shibin was furious. He knew what Lu Zhenming meant and what he wanted to do. This was a threat to make him give up using him to pay for Xiao Chen. However, Xia Shibin really had to give up. In any case, he had to pinch his nose and admit it. Otherwise, if this paragraph of using official power for personal gain was passed to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he would definitely be fired. Even Brother Yang would be implicated. Thinking of this, Xia Shibin said helplessly, tell Lu Zhenming that this matter is over. Don't let him talk nonsense. Okay. Ma Gangmen nodded and turned to leave. Yang Tan had been expressionless, as if it had nothing to do with him. It was not until Ma Gangmen left that he was really angry. Xia Shibin, what are you doing? You don't even know that someone recorded it? Why are you telling him so much? If I didn't say that, Lu Zhenming might not have cooperated. Who knew that this kid was so sneaky? He actually recorded it. Xia Shibin's face was filled with bitterness. To mean this kid? Forget it, there's no need to play tricks. I found that the students in this school are all smart. It's not easy to deal with them. Yang Tan frowned. He didn't expect that his identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau could be very useful at times. But it could also be a hindrance at other times. If it wasn't for that, he would have kicked Xiao Chen away. Why would there be so much trouble? Xiao. Suddenly Yang Tan thought of him. He couldn't make a move himself. But Xiao shouldn't be a problem, and he wouldn't betray him like Lu Zhenming. He knew that he would be ridiculed if he went there with his original identity, but he still forced himself to go there. In the car, Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment. He changed into the chef's suit. the couple's suit that Tang Tang gave him, and put on the white fox mask. Then he parked the car in a place far away, and slowly walked to the Yu family's house. Please show me your invitation. At the gate of the Yu family's house, Xiaochen was stopped by a servant of the Yu family, who asked him for an invitation to the wedding party. However, how could Xiaochen have that thing? He just glanced at the disciple and said, "Where is Yu Xiaochuan? Let him pick me up." Ha ha ha, I say buddy, don't joke. You are so arrogant. How can Yu Xiaochuan have time to see you? You are here to eat and drink, aren't you? And you are wearing a mask. Why? Don't you want people to know who you are? The servant suddenly sneered. There were too many people who came to the wedding party to eat and drink, and he had seen many of them. So he directly thought that Xiaochen was such a person. The servant's words suddenly attracted some people's attention, but there was no lack of people here who knew White Fox, and suddenly they were shocked. Yu Xiaochuan was in the wedding hall in the courtyard to welcome important guests. At this time, a person who was familiar with the Yu family and happened to hear about White Fox ran over and shouted, "Young Master Xiaochuan, bad news, Master White Fox, Master White Fox. What's wrong with Master White Fox?" When Yu Xiaochuan heard about White Fox, his eyes suddenly lit up. He left the guest who was talking beside him, and turned his head. It seems that Master White Fox was stopped by the guard servant. The man said, "What?" Yu Xiaochuan jumped in fright, and hurriedly ran towards the main entrance. When he arrived at the entrance, he saw his family's servant laughing at the White Fox. He immediately flew into a rage, jumped over, and slapped the servant, causing him to stagger. He said to Xiao Chun in a flattering manner, "White Fox hero, you actually came to attend my wedding banquet? You really give me face. Please come in, come in. It's not his fault, so don't punish him." Xiao Chun pointed to the disciple on the ground. Although this person was a little indiscriminate, he didn't do anything wrong. Xiao Chun was too lazy to argue with this kind of person. Okay. Yu Xiaochuan originally wanted to ask the disciple to get lost, but after hearing Xiao Chun's words, he said to him, "Get up, quickly thank Master White Fox. He's a magnanimous person." "Thank you, Master White Fox." The disciple who was hit on the ground quickly got up and carefully apologized. Xiao Chun was politely invited in by Yu Xiaochuan. As he walked, he said, "Master White Fox, I didn't know that you would do me the honor. If I knew, I would have sent you an invitation. But then again, I don't know where you are, so I can't send it to you." "All right." Xiao Chun waved his hand. "I'm just here to take a look. The bride is very beautiful." Yes. In a while, Master White Fox, you will know when you see her. She's even more beautiful today." Yu Xiaochuan squeezed his hand and said, "However, Master White Fox, do you think I'm beautiful today? Ugh, am I handsome?" "You're not bad either." Xiao Chun listened to Yu Xiaochuan's effeminate words, and he had goosebumps all over. Ha. Yu Xiaochuan immediately became happy. He walked into the banquet hall with Xiao Chun, and arranged for Xiao Chun to sit in the VIP seat in the front row. Then he said, "I'm sorry, Master White Fox. I really have to welcome others, so I can't accompany you. You see, you can only sit here for a while." "Okay, go ahead." Xiao Chun waved his hand. It was very stressful to be with this effeminate person. Yu Xiaochuan went back to welcome the guests, but Xiao Chun felt that there were a few gazes focused on him. In fact, he didn't need to look to know who it was. When he walked into the banquet hall, he actually saw Shen Jingxian, Miss Su, and Jean Beibei sitting in the banquet hall. They had already arrived. Zheng Xiaokuan, Lu Jinming, and Zhu Yingxiong and Yu Shanshan, who were not far from Xiao Chun, were also looking at Xiao Chun at this moment. "Jingxian, your boyfriend is here. Don't you want to sit with him?" Cheng Minjing asked. Shen Jingxian glanced at Xiao Chun's direction and felt a little sad. She knew Xiao Chun's feelings for Tang Tang and why he came today, so she didn't want to disturb him. She just said, "Oh no, I don't want to see him these days." Chapter 406. Fine. Cheng Minjing knew that Shen Jingxian and White Fox were quarreling, so she didn't say much. But Jean Beibei stared at Xiao Chun without blinking. After a while she said, "Cousin Minjing, do you think Yu Xiaochuan likes White Fox?" "Puff ahem. Beibei, what are you talking about? Chung Minjing was stunned. She thought Jin Beibei had a strong taste. As a woman, Shin Jingxian really felt that Yu Xiaochuan had an indescribable feeling for Xiaochen just now. Of course she wasn't sure. After all, Yu Xiaochuan was a man. After a short while more and more people came to the banquet. However, many of them also saw swordsman White Fox sitting in the VIP seats. At this moment, they were all talking about him. They didn't understand why the man of the hour in the righteous and demonic summit a few days ago would appear here. Could it be that he had a good relationship with the Yu family? They had never heard of swordsman White Fox appearing in any banquet before. However, they were just guessing. No one dared to ask why swordsman White Fox was here. Lu Zhenming wanted to flatter him, but he didn't dare to step forward. Zheng Xiaoquan didn't dare to talk to him either. Soon the engagement ceremony officially began. Of course, the engagement ceremony was not as complicated as the wedding ceremony. After the host introduced the guests, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang walked out from the backstage with a glass of wine in their hands to thank the guests. On the stage, Yu Xiaochuan listened to the host's words of bliss. He was not interested in Tang Tang at all. He just wanted to be polite on the stage. However, just as he was speaking, there was a sudden commotion below the stage. A person hurriedly walked into the banquet hall. Behind him, there were two similarly hurried men in black. Once they entered the banquet hall, they went straight to the VIP seats. To be able to strut into the banquet hall with such great fanfare, after the wedding banquet had begun, they were definitely not ordinary people. Otherwise, the Yu clan would not have let them in. Although the Yu clan wasn't as powerful as the Chung family in Songning County, they weren't weak either. Especially the branch of the Yu clan, which was an upright clan. No one dared to cause trouble on such an occasion. However, these three people had come in without any scruples. Everyone's eyes were focused on the three of them. They wanted to see what they were here for. They automatically ignored the host's words. However, the host did not stop. He continued to say the auspicious words. However, Yu Xiaochuan's expression did not look too good. The three people were walking towards none other than the Great White Fox. Who are the three of you? What was he going to do? You actually dare to cause trouble at my Yu clan's wedding banquet? Yu Xiaochuan was furious. He pointed at the three people and shouted. However, the three of them completely ignored Yu Xiaochuan. Instead, they directly walked up to Xiao Chun and said, "White Fox, right? I'm from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Warrior Guild. Come with us." The one who spoke was Xiao En's. He was arrogantly looking down at Xiao Chun and said coldly, "Who do you think you are?" Xiao Chun glanced at the person in front of him and said coldly, "Stay at the side. Don't block my view of the wedding." Xiao En's didn't expect Xiao Chun to be so arrogant. After hearing that he was from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Warrior Guild, not only was he not afraid, but his legs were also trembling. He actually dared to talk to him like this. Was he fearless because he didn't know? Or did he really have something to rely on? "What about me? Do you have something to say?" Xiao Chun said. "If you have something to say, then say it. If not, then get lost." "White Fox, you're very good. Do you know that you've committed a crime? I've been ordered to bring you back for investigation." Xiao En's pointed at Xiao Chun and said angrily, "Do you really think that you're a piece of shit?" Xiao Chun had naturally heard about Xiao En's from Hongzhou and Song Huawu. However, didn't this guy keep quiet before? Why was he egging him on again? Of course, Xiao Chun had even dared to kill Li Shanning and Leng Youxiang. Naturally, he wouldn't be afraid of him. Moreover, Xiao Chun had killed these two people without any reason. He didn't violate the rules at all. Even if Xiao En's wanted to make things difficult for him, he couldn't do anything if he didn't cooperate. How can you say that?" Xiao En's pointed at Xiao Chun, his anger soaring to the heavens. "Can't you understand human language? Are you going to get lost yourself? Or do you want me to send you out?" Xiao Chun looked at Xiao En's and stood up to send him out. "Fine, just you wait." Xiao En's took a deep breath. In his heart, he was a little afraid of Xiao Chen's strength. This was a martial artist at the peak of the 8th stage of inner strength. He didn't have the confidence to forcibly take him away. His own strength wasn't as high as the White Fox's. If he forcefully made a move here, he was afraid that he would be the one injured. At that time, he wouldn't be in the right, and the loss would outweigh the gain. Thinking of this, although Qiao Ins was annoyed, he decided to endure for the time being. This guy was too arrogant. Did he think that no one could deal with him? When Chen Yuhan came, he would see how he would die. I'll let you go for now, but when the time comes, I'll teach you a lesson. Originally, Qiao In's intention was to control the white fox first. When Chen Yuhan came, it would be easy to find him and directly make a move. If he didn't control him, what if the white fox ran away? But now it seemed that this white fox was extremely arrogant. He openly participated in all kinds of activities without any taboo. Since that was the case, then that was good. He wasn't afraid that he would run away. When the time came, he would directly let Chen Yuhan kill him. After that, Qiao Ins dejectedly left the wedding banquet with his two subordinates. It could be said that he came in a hurry and left in a hurry. His wish was in vain. Yu Xiaochuan secretly thought that he was so cool. In an instant, he regained his previous excitement. The wedding continued. Everyone present saw this farce, but no one dared to say anything. No one dared to laugh at anything. They couldn't afford to offend the white fox, nor could they afford to offend the warrior guild's Qiao Ins. However, these people secretly felt that the white fox was really too awesome. With just a few words, he made the people from the warrior guild give up. Could it be that he wasn't afraid of being blacklisted by the warrior guild? One had to know that when the time came, the warrior guild would tell the Hong Consortium that they wouldn't sell anything in resources to the white fox. What would he do in the future? However, thinking about it again, Hong Zhu and Song Huo both supported the white fox. Although they didn't know Hong Zhu's position in the Hong Consortium, he was able to represent the Hong Consortium to participate in the summit. Moreover, as a referee, his position was probably not low. It was really not possible to blacklist the white fox. You only know how to act cool. Shen Jingxian curled her lips. She felt that Xiao Chen shouldn't offend people like this. How many people had he offended now? Although he was very powerful, he shouldn't be like this, right? Who knew if these people had powerful backers? If they found a powerful master, how could Xiao Chen be a match for them? Unconsciously, Shen Jingxian couldn't help but worry about him. Although she was a little angry at Xiao Chen for lying to her. No matter what, he was the first person she fell in love with, the first person who had her body, and the person who was recognized by the Shen family. Her relationship with him was already inseparable. However, no matter what, Shen Jingxian didn't want Xiao Chen to lie to her. Even if he said that he had a relationship with Yi Xiaoye and Tang Tang, as long as he was honest, she believed that she wasn't that unreasonable. What about Xiao Chen? He was very close to Yi Xiaoye, but he told her that there was nothing between them. It was fine if Shen Jingmao said it, but Shen Jingxian saw it with her own eyes. How could it be false? I think he's quite handsome. If Sister Jingxian doesn't want him, just give him to Beibei. Jean Beibei said with a smile. Give him to you? Don't you like Xiao Chen? Why do you like this white fox? Cheng Minjing kicked Jean Beibei. Why is this girl so fickle? It's almost the same. Jean Beibei said. What's almost the same? Far from it. Cheng Minjing said. Don't get involved. Shen Jingshuan's heart skipped a beat. She had a feeling that Jean Beibei seemed to have discovered something. Every time she spoke, she seemed to be pointing at something. Although she found out later that it wasn't the case, Shen Jingxian still suspected that Jean Beibei did it on purpose. Even if she suspected it, it was not appropriate for her to ask, because there was no way to ask. On the stage, Tang Tang glanced at the white fox. She knew this person. She had been talking to Yu Xiaochuan for a long time. Most of the topics she and Yu Xiaochuan talked about were about this white fox. Why is this white fox so handsome and powerful? Tang Tang was a little puzzled. Why do you always talk about me? At the same time, Tang Tang had a very bad impression of this white fox. What was so good about this person? Yu Xiaochuan kept talking about her all day long. She didn't want to talk to Yu Xiaochuan, but who would have thought that Yu Xiaochuan would talk to her nonstop every day, instilling in her the idea that this person was very good, and that she should marry him instead of him. Therefore Tang Tang was speechless. Was Yu Xiaochuan insane recently? Did he let his fiancée fall in love with another man? Was he testing her, or was he out of his mind? But anyway, This made Tang Tang hate Yu Xiaochuan and the white fox even more. Finally, the engagement ceremony was over. Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang toasted the guests present. From the VIP seats at the beginning to the seats at the back, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang toasted to every table. Originally, only the elders would toast alone. But when it came to the white fox, Yu Xiaochuan deliberately paused and directly raised his cup. "Hero White Fox, let me toast you." Xiaochun raised his cup, but his eyes were fixed on Tang Tang. Seeing that he was staring at Tang Tang, Yu Xiaochuan hurriedly said, "Tang Tang, why don't you toast to Hero White Fox?" Tang Tang frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by the white fox. She was very disgusted and didn't want to toast. But under the watchful eyes of so many people, she couldn't make a scene. She could only pick up the cup symbolically and take a sip. Chapter 407. Xiaochun smiled slightly and drank a glass of wine. He said, "Yu Xiaochuan, your fiancée is very beautiful. I like her very much." "Really? That's great." Yu Xiaochuan was delighted and said, "White Fox Hero, don't leave later. Wait for me." Tang Tang almost poured the glass of wine directly on Yu Xiaochuan and White Fox's face. What dirty words are these two people talking about? White Fox likes me. And Yu Xiaochuan said it was great? What kind of thinking and logic is this? Tang Tang snorted and turned to leave. Yu Xiaochuan had no choice but to nod apologetically to Xiaochun. Then, he turned to chase after Tang Tang and continued to toast to others. Xiaochun sat on the side of the VIP seats, so not many people heard the conversation between him and Yu Xiaochuan. Only Zhu Yingxiong and Yu Shanshan, who were closest to him, heard it. Ordinary people didn't dare to sit next to Xiaochun, who dared to get close to White Fox Hero. However, Zhu Yingxiong knew that White Fox was Xiaochun, so he didn't avoid it. He stopped the conversation between Xiaochun and Yu Xiaochuan, and he almost burst out laughing. It seems that Yu Xiaochuan intends to give Tang Tang to boss Xiaochun? In that case, Tang Tang is still my sister-in-law, but the meaning is slightly different. Hero, do you think there's something wrong with my brother recently? Why does he speak so strangely? Also, why is that White Fox Hero so shameless? He actually said that he likes my sister-in-law, Yu Shanshan said with a frown. Haha, I think your brother is right. Maybe he doesn't like Tang Tang, but because of his family, he was forced to get engaged. He may have his own pursuits, so he would be happy to get rid of Tang Tang. Zhu Yingxiong said. Don't talk nonsense. How is that possible? Yu Shanshan said. Forget it. Let's not worry about it. It's fine as long as we are happy. It's too tiring to care so much. The marriage of a big family is full of filth. There are very few people like us who are in love with each other. Zhu Yingxiong laughed. Who's in love with you? I just think that you're okay, but you're different from the Prince Charming I imagined. You're too fat and not handsome, Yu Shanshan said. Haven't you heard that in this day and age, every fatty is a potential stock? Zhu Yingxiong chuckled. After 3 rounds of drinking, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang also returned to the stage. The host joked loudly. The bride and groom will enter the bridal chamber together. Other guests, please feel free to do as you please. In other words, the host wouldn't interfere with whether they stayed or left. The guests could eat here for a while, or leave directly. Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang went to their new house together. Although she had expected that this day would come, she still felt wronged and unwilling. If Yu Xiaochuan was someone she liked, it would have been fine. However, not only did she not like him, she hated him. Moreover, this person didn't seem to value her at all. He didn't love her either. Tang Tang could feel that Yu Xiaochuan was more perfunctory to her. Therefore, their marriage was bound to be a tragedy. Tang Tang was also a little puzzled. Before, when Yu Xiaochuan saw that she had changed back to her previous appearance, he was very tempted. He fought with Xiaochun for her, openly and secretly. Finally, he started from the family and won the beauty. However, she didn't know when Yu Xiaochuan suddenly changed. He no longer said sweet words, nor did he take the initiative to get close to her. He didn't even mention anything about that aspect once. Although Tang Tang breathed a sigh of relief, she was more wary of Yu Xiaochuan. This person was crazy, and not like a normal person at all. When entering the new house, Yu Xiaochuan took out his mobile phone and quickly sent a message. Then he entered the house and said to Tang Tang with a smile, "Tang Tang, we are now officially engaged. You are my wife. What do you want to say? Just say it." Tang Tang sat on the bed, crossed her arms and looked at Yu Xiaochuan coldly. "Hey, don't be like this. Let's talk about it openly," Yu Xiaochuan said. "Talk about what?" Tang Tang asked. "I can see that you don't like me at all. If you are with me for the rest of your life, are you willing?" Yu Xiaochuan asked with a smile. "What if I'm not willing? Will you break off the engagement with me?" Tang Tang said with a frown. "Of course, that's impossible," Yu Xiaochuan said. "To tell you the truth, I don't like you. And I don't want to touch you. If you follow me for the rest of your life, can you bear the taste of loneliness for the rest of your life? You can't sleep alone without a man to comfort you. Can you stand it?" "Yu Xiaochuan, are you crazy? You don't touch me. Just as well. I don't want you to touch me either." Tang Tang's face was a little unsightly. She laughed at herself and thought, "How weird is my fiancé to say these words on the wedding night? He doesn't want to touch me? Not interested in me?" Tang Tang was a little puzzled. "What were you doing earlier? Isn't it painful for both of us? If I don't like you, why are we still engaged? Wouldn't it be better to break off the engagement early?" Of course, Tang Tang didn't know that Yu Xiaochuan had his own difficulties. He must be tied to Tang Fangbai. Therefore, the marriage between him and Tang Tang was inevitable, and Yu Xiaochuan couldn't choose it. Well, but think about it. Although you haven't really done it with Xiaochun before, you should have played a lot of flirting, right? You used your mouth to help him, so he should also help you, right? Think about it. I can't do it with you. Do you want that kind of feeling? Yu Xiaochuan said patiently. Yu Xiaochuan, you're shameless. Don't slander me. If you have something to say, just say it. If not, I'm going to rest. Since you don't want to touch me, get lost. I don't want to see you. Tang Tang looked at Yu Xiaochuan with a sneer. She was a little angry. Don't get excited, Tang Tang. I actually have a solution to this, Yu Xiaochuan said. As long as you want, I won't stop you from doing it with others. But you can only do it with the person I designate. Get lost. Yu Xiaochuan, get out of here. Tang Tang was really angry. It was the first time in her life that she had seen such a shameless person. Was this Yu Xiaochuan, a gentleman? He was even more shameless than a villain. He was even shameless enough to break the world record. Hee, that's not up to you. Yu Xiaochuan sneered. It doesn't matter if you agree or not. I've decided. If you don't want to have a scandal, be obedient. Otherwise, Otherwise what? Tang Tang glared at Yu Xiaochuan. The person who wants to do it with you has a lot of power and strength. Although I can't kill Xiaochun, if he wants to kill Xiaochun, it's as easy as turning over his hand. You decide for yourself. If you anger this person, you know the consequences. Yu Xiaochuan threatened bluntly. You're shameless. Tang Tang was anxious, shocked and angry. Xiaochun received a text message from Yu Xiaochuan. He stood up and followed the direction provided by Yu Xiaochuan. He looked in the Yu's house and found a new house decorated with lanterns and streamers. He heard the quarrel between Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang inside. He couldn't help but be stunned. He then pushed the door and walked in. Ah, White Fox Hero, you're here. When Yu Xiaochuan saw Xiaochun come in, his eyes lit up. He said with some flattery, please sit down, please sit down. Tang Tang looked at the White Fox Hero who came in and faintly understood something. She also understood what Yu Xiaochuan said before. During this period of time, Yu Xiaochuan kept instilling in her how excellent the White Fox Hero was. Then, when the White Fox Hero toasted tonight, all of these showed that the person who took a fancy to her was the White Fox Hero. Although the White Fox Hero was indeed very powerful, and many people were in awe of him, she was a woman. She didn't have high aspirations. She didn't want to think about those family matters and those things about strength. What she wanted was to be with the person she liked. Even if it was impossible, she would like to silently like him and silently bless him. But Yu Xiaochuan actually wanted to give her to another man to play with. This was something that Tang Tang couldn't agree to. She had no choice but to marry Yu Xiaochuan. But if she followed Yu Xiaochuan's wishes, would she still have any dignity? Would she still be herself? Xiaochun nodded and looked at Tang Tang. whose eyes were flickering. He sighed, but he couldn't explain much, at least not when Yu Xiaochuan was present. Well, what's the matter? Xiaochuan asked. Haha, White Fox Hero, don't you like me? Tonight, this new house is prepared for you. You can slowly enjoy and savor me here. What do you think? Am I thoughtful? Yu Xiaochuan looked at Xiaochun and said. Xiaochun nodded. Although it seemed a bit shameless to do so, it was better for Yu Xiaochuan to give Tang Tang to him than to give her to someone else. So he nodded and said, You're very good. I'm very satisfied, but I'm a clean freak. Others shouldn't touch what I've touched. Don't worry, it won't happen. I'll help you keep an eye on her. And don't let her contact other men. Especially that Xiaochun. Yu Xiaochuan said quickly. So now you. Xiaochun glanced at Yu Xiaochuan. I'm leaving now. The night is long. White Fox Hero, enjoy yourself. Yu Xiaochuan quickly said. I'll go somewhere else. Don't worry, I've arranged everything. You can rest assured that I got the approval of Tang Tang's grandfather, Tang Fengbai. There won't be any mistakes. Don't worry and play boldly. No one will dare to say anything. Xiaochun was stunned. He didn't expect that even Tang Tang's grandfather agreed. How did Yu Xiaochuan do it? This guy really has some ability. But these were not what Xiaochun needed to think about. He just said, Okay, but I don't want anyone to eavesdrop. Don't let anyone near the villa. That's for sure. I don't want anyone eavesdropping. Yu Xiaochuan nodded. He liked White Fox Hero. How could he let other men come and eavesdrop? Chapter 408. Tang Tang's eyes were full of despair. She never thought that Yu Xiaochuan was filthy, but her grandpa was as filthy as him. Tang Tang had wanted to tell the Tang family about Yu Xiaochuan's beastly behavior and break off the engagement with the Yu family. After all, marrying Yu Xiaochuan and Yu Xiaochuan using her to please other men were two different concepts. She believed that the Tang family could not afford to lose face. If she told her grandpa, how could he let it happen? But now, her grandpa, who looked so upright, was actually in cahoots with Yu Xiaochuan. Tang Tang suddenly realized that she could not understand the thinking of these families in this world. Could it be that in order to curry favor with a powerful person, one could be shameless to this extent? Yu Xiaochuan turned and left after he finished speaking. He closed the door of the villa for Xiaochun and sighed in his heart. How he wished he was Tang Tang. However, he also knew that if he really expressed his intentions, Xiaochun would definitely be scared to death by him. At that time, there was a possibility that Xiaochun would ignore him. Therefore, Yu Xiaochuan temporarily kept this love in his heart. No one could understand his difficulties. He felt that he was an anomaly in this world, and there was no way to solve it. White Fox Hero's orientation was very normal. He could not change anything. He could only watch silently. As long as he was happy, Yu Xiaochuan would be satisfied in the new villa. Tang Tang looked at the man in front of her with some horror. This man was pursued and praised by many people. This man stood under thousands of halos. Even the law enforcement hall of the Warrior Guild did not care about him. However, Tang Tang did not admire or like him at all. She did not like him. No matter how good he was not the person she loved. She only liked Xiaochun. She liked being with him, selling fried dough sticks every day, and going to school together. Unfortunately, the days were gone forever. And she also knew that Xiaochun was useless. He would not be recognized by the Xiao family again. And it was even more impossible for him to have anything with her. The marriage with the Yu family had become a foregone conclusion. After today, Tang Tang would no longer be free. However, she really did not expect that Yu Xiaochuan would be so disgusting. In order to please the man in front of her, he would give her to him. Was strength really that important to a clan? Tang Tang had long been accustomed to an ordinary life. She felt dirty when she returned to these big families. Originally, she would not be able to escape today. After all, although there were many rules in the big families, one could refuse to have sex before the official engagement. But after the engagement, Tang Tang would be a member of the Yu family. But now, what made her feel inconceivable was that her roommate was not Yu Xiaochuan, but a man named White Fox. Xiaochun approached Tang Tang step by step, and sat directly next to her. Tang Tang was so scared that her whole body was tense. She did not know what this person was going to do, but he did not speak or do anything for a long time. She was very puzzled. Xiao Chun was actually using his divine sense to probe the surroundings. He was relieved to find that no one was eavesdropping nearby. In fact, there wasn't even a single person nearby. Sitting together with Tang Tang, this was a feeling that Xiao Chun had not had for a long time. He did not feel anything when he was in school, but he had not seen her for a long time. Sitting together again made Xiao Chun's heart beat faster. Finally, he still got it. Although the process of getting it was not very glorious, Xiao Chun did not break his promise. What he said must be fulfilled. The feeling of sitting with you is really good, Xiao Chun said faintly with some fascination. Tang Tang had goosebumps all over her body. Isn't this white fox too disgusting? Does he think that by saying a few nice words, I can change my impression of him? Although this dress is a little small, and I don't know where you bought it, I still prefer it, said Xiao Chun. Tang Tang thought that Xiao Chun was talking about the sexy cheongsam she was wearing. This dress was prepared by the Yu family, not bought by her. Moreover, her breasts were about to burst. She didn't like it at all. Showing the sexy and perfect figure made Tang Tang feel particularly awkward. In the past, when she was a fat girl, she wore those loose clothes. Now, she had recovered her figure and beauty, but she actually didn't like it. She just felt that this appearance was more worthy of Xiao Chun. But she didn't want to be appreciated by others, especially by this white fox in front of her. I didn't buy it. I don't know, Tang Tang said coldly. It can't be right? Isn't it a couple's suit? Xiao Chun was stunned and asked. There is a couple's suit in cheongsam? You mean you Xiao Chuan? Tang Tang said coldly. What do you want to say? Don't talk to me about these meaningless words. What couple's suit? Don't say so much. Don't you just want to have sex with me? Do you think I don't know? Xiao Chun was a little speechless. He pointed to the chef's suit on his body. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then, he reached out to unbutton it and took off his clothes. You see, didn't you give yourself away? Did you take off your clothes? Don't you want to do that? But I tell you, if you want to do it, I will bite my tongue and commit suicide. Unless you knock me out. But if you have the ability, you can always knock me out. Tang Tang said. Tang Tang, you misunderstood. Look at this suit. Xiao Chun originally wanted to give Tang Tang a surprise, but he didn't expect that she directly regarded him as a class enemy. Her sarcasm made Xiao Chun's original intention to express not be expressed at all. What are you looking at? Why are you looking at your clothes? Tang Tang snorted. But when her eyes stayed on the white chef's suit in Xiao Chun's hand, she couldn't help but be slightly stunned. She was so familiar with this suit. It carried too many of her good memories. Before, she didn't even look at the white fox. Naturally, she wouldn't pay attention to the clothes on his body. But now, when she looked at it carefully, she found that this suit looked like the chef's suit that she gave to Xiao Chun. Seeing that this suit was actually in the hands of the white fox, Tang Tang's face couldn't help but change. How do you have this suit? Where did you get it? What did you do to Xiao Chun? Didn't you give me this suit? What can I do to Xiao Chun? I'm not a masochist, Xiao Chun said with a wry smile. And Tang Tang was slightly stunned, and then her face became even more ugly. You, who are you? What are you going to do? Xiao Chun knew that it was not good to joke with Tang Tang anymore. It seemed that this would not only not give her a surprise, but it would also scare her. So Xiao Chun simply reached out and buckled the mask on his face and slowly took it off. Although Tang Tang wondered why the white fox would take off the mask and show his true face, she was afraid that it was inconvenient to wear a mask and be like her. Although she hated the white fox, she still glanced over. After all, even Yu Xiaochuan didn't know the true face of the white fox. Was she the first person to see it? However, when she looked over, Tang Tang's eyes couldn't move away. She widened her eyes and looked at the man in front of her incredulously. It's Xiao Chun. It's actually Xiao Chun? How can it be him? Tang Tang felt a little incredulous, and then she stood up in surprise. She rubbed her eyes to make sure that she was not dazzled, and then she said excitedly, Xiao Chun? How can it be you? Why can't it be me? Xiao Chun smiled bitterly and said, You didn't recognize me for a long time. I was so sad. I thought you had Yu Xiaochuan, so you forgot me. Puffed. Tang Tang glared at Xiao Chun. What do you mean I forgot you? Aren't we good buddies? We even called last night. Good buddies. Xiao Chun smiled. Are we really just good buddies? Didn't Yu Xiaochuan give you to me? Right. If Xiao Chun didn't mention it, Tang Tang would be immersed in excitement and wouldn't think of it at once. But when Xiao Chun said this, Tang Tang's face suddenly changed again. Aren't you too bold? You actually pretended to be White Fox? If the real White Fox knew about it, wouldn't he come to kill you? Tang Tang immediately thought that Xiao Chun was a fake, because she felt that the real White Fox was unlikely to give face and attend Yu Xiaochuan's wedding. After all, Yu Xiaochuan had been fawning on White Fox before, but White Fox didn't pay much attention to him. Moreover, Xiao Chun told her yesterday that he would come to take her away, so she thought that it must be Xiao Chun who took the risk out of desperation. It was nothing for him to deceive Yu Xiaochuan, but he pretended to be White Fox. With White Fox's ruthless character, wouldn't he want to kill Xiao Chun directly to vent his anger? Why would he want to kill me? I am White Fox and White Fox is me. I want to kill myself. I haven't lived enough. Xiao Chun was stunned and understood that Tang Tang had misunderstood, so he immediately explained. Xiao Chun, stop joking. You should leave quickly. I have never seen you before, and I don't know who you are. When the truth comes out, Yu Xiaochuan and White Fox won't suspect you. Tang Tang said nervously. Tang Tang, I am really White Fox. Xiao Chun walked over, held her hand and said solemnly. Okay, you are White Fox. Then can you leave now? Tang Tang said. Tang Tang, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you before. Xiao Chun smiled bitterly and said. I am really White Fox, but at that time, I didn't want others to know my identity, and my strength wasn't enough to bear too much attention. What do you mean? Tang Tang looked at Xiao Chun. The identity of White Fox, in fact, first appeared because I had just finished frying youtiao in the morning market street. I wore a white chef's suit, and then bought a fox mask, so I was called White Fox. Xiao Chun said. At first, I didn't think that I would have today's name. I don't know if you still remember when we were selling youtiao. Someone said that the dog was lost? Chapter 409. Yes, I remember. Tang Tang nodded, but she still didn't quite believe it. The appearance of the White Fox was actually just to find a dog for that rich woman. Xiao Chun said. This was the first task that the White Fox took. Later, I used the White Fox to register as a member of the Warrior Guild. Then, I started doing tasks and met my partner Yi Baiya. She is from the Demon Star sect. As for me going to the Righteous and Demonic Songning Summit, it was Yi Baiya who asked me to go. Why does it sound so fantastic to me? Xiao Chun, do you mean that you are really the White Fox? Tang Tang felt it was incredible. Yes, I am really the White Fox. Xiao Chun nodded affirmatively. Then where did your strength come from? Aren't you a loser who can't cultivate? Tang Tang was very puzzled. In the monitoring room of the Yu family, Yu Xiaochuan was sitting in front of the monitor at the moment, staring at the scene on the monitor. Xiao Chun's divine sense could only detect whether there was anyone near the villa, but it couldn't detect whether there were surveillance and listening devices installed in the villa. Therefore, the scene that happened inside fell into Yu Xiaochuan's eyes. Yu Xiaochuan was very surprised. The White Fox was actually Xiao Chun? He was extremely shocked. After listening to Tang Tang's words, he also suspected that Xiao Chun was pretending to be the White Fox. However, he still continued to listen patiently. When Tang Tang asked this crucial question, Yu Xiaochuan also widened his eyes and stretched his ears. Actually, I can't be considered to be able to cultivate now. I don't belong to the martial cultivator, nor the demonic cultivator. But I am somewhat similar to the demonic cultivator. I am probably a superpower user. Xiao Chun said. Ah, superpower user? After Tang Tang heard it, she suddenly looked at Xiao Chun with some horror. She knew how powerful arcanists were. There was once a legend in the Warrior Guild and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was said that there was once an arcanist who was invincible in the world. Moreover, arcanists were very rare, so the abilities of arcanists were said to be miraculous. For example, Xiao Chun waved his hand, and the teapot on the table flew into Xiao Chen's hand. Xiao Chen waved his hand, and the teapot flew back. Ahem. Tang Tang was stunned. So, you're really White Fox? Yes, after the summit ended. I actually began to hint to you Xiaochuan that I was interested in you. But I didn't expect that you Xiaochuan would really agree to give you to me. Xiao Chen was actually a little shocked. Wasn't you Xiaochuan too kind? So that's how it is. Then why didn't you tell me when you called me last night? I was scared to death. Tang Tang suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Then you are an arcanist. Why did you always appear as a loser before? If I were to say that I only gained my current strength after getting to know you, would you believe me? Xiao Chen asked. And Tang Tang was slightly stunned then nodded. I believe it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been kicked out of the Xiao family. In fact, the first time I used a special ability to kill someone was when Chen Jingquan clamored to find someone to deal with you. I let him die in a car accident. Xiao Chen said. You killed him because of Shen Jingxian, right? Tang Tang suddenly said. Was it really because of me? Both. Xiao Chen didn't hide it. Hey, I like you now, and you don't lie to me. Tang Tang smiled. I found that I really can't ask you for anything from being a buddy to now. I'm sorry. Xiao Chen said. There's nothing to be sorry about. I heard that you have been chasing her when you were in number 1 middle school. Tang Tang didn't care. She thought that Xiao Chen liked Cheng Minjing, but after returning to the Tang family for a period of time, she found out that Xiao Chen used to chase Shen Jingxian. And I'm with her. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't hide it. If you are White Fox, then I know. Tang Tang also nodded. Right. Since you killed Chen Jingquan, why didn't you kill Yu Xiaochuan? Yu Xiaochuan's eyes widened in the monitoring room. D*MN. The most vicious thing is a woman's heart. She actually let White Fox kill me? Is this the rhythm of an adulterer murdering her husband? Yu Xiaochuan is a good person. He is not particularly bad. He also gave me money to pursue you and push you down, so I kept him alive. He is no longer a threat to me. Maybe you don't know, but his cultivation method can't touch women at the moment. Xiao Chen said. Ah, I was wondering why he had become so cold recently. He never made any unreasonable requests to me. So that's why. Tang Tang suddenly realized. At this moment, Yu Xiaochuan didn't doubt it anymore. There were very few people who knew that he cultivated the chrysanthemum treasure book, but Xiao Chen actually knew it. That meant that he was undoubtedly White Fox, because he had asked him about the chrysanthemum treasure book. Moreover, Yu Xiaochuan also understood why White Fox was so angry when he asked him to help assassinate Xiao Chen. Who wouldn't be angry when he killed himself? However, when he heard Xiao Chen say that he thought he was a good person, he was suddenly elated. Xiao Chen was still the best. Young Master Kun, so Hero White Fox is Xiao Chen. Now that we know this secret, won't we be able to blackmail him? Moreover, Chen Jingquan was also killed by him, hehe. In this monitoring room, the Yu clan's disciple on duty laughed and said, Yes, White Fox is actually Xiao Chen. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and patted the disciple's shoulder. If we announce this news... The disciple was halfway through his sentence. The next moment, he couldn't speak, because his neck had been broken. Yu Xiaochuan looked at him coldly and said lightly, You know too much. Do you still want to harm Hero White Fox? After that, he kicked the disciple's body to the side, then took out the monitoring hard disk from the monitoring device. With a squeeze, the hard disk turned into a pile of scrap iron. Yu Xiaochuan originally wanted to admire Hero White Fox's majestic appearance in the monitoring room, but he didn't expect to see such a secret. However, after that, it was all Xiao Chen and Tang Tang's conversation. Yu Xiaochuan didn't want to watch anymore. He directly cut off the line in his villa room and walked out of the monitoring room. Of course, it wasn't that he didn't want to watch, but he was afraid that someone would break into the monitoring room again and discover this secret. Yu Xiaochuan casually called a disciple outside the monitoring room. The disciple inside wanted to peep into his villa room and was killed by him. So he asked the disciple to deal with it. The disciple didn't suspect anything and directly dragged the dead disciple away. Inside the villa, Xiao Chen looked at Tang Tang and held her hand. Tang Tang listened to Xiao Chen's soul-stirring experience and couldn't help but secretly wonder. Why didn't you say so earlier, Xiao Chen? I didn't know at that time that I would have such a status and strength one day. I have already surpassed the young master of the Xiao family by so much. Xiao Chen was actually a little emotional. When he was the young master of the Xiao family, Xiao Chen didn't have the connections and respect he had now. Then what should we do in the future? Tang Tang asked. You Xiao Chuan probably won't dare to touch you. You can stay in the Yu family for the time being. I will come to see you regularly, Xiao Chen said. Actually, I want to go back to school. Tang Tang sighed. It should be impossible for the time being. The Tang family will not agree to you going back to school, unless you are in the same class as Yu Xiaochuan and have the same seat, Xiao Chen said. Forget it. I feel uncomfortable all over when I see him. Tang Tang shook her head. Let's not talk about the future first. Tell me what we can do today. Xiao Chen's heart beat a little faster. He replaced Yu Xiaochuan's position in the wedding room. It was impossible to say that he didn't have any thoughts about Tang Tang. Do you want to do that with me? Tang Tang still talked to Xiao Chen in the same style as before. She was not shy and said what she wanted to say. She was used to it. Even if her relationship with Xiao Chen had changed, she was not willing to deliberately change anything. She believed that Xiao Chen also liked Tang Tang, who was straightforward. Ugh. Xiao Chen didn't know how to do it. Xiao Chen, can you be more natural? Where is your courage to take my photo and rub it? Tang Tang looked at Xiao Chen's embarrassed look, and she was a little dumbfounded. Can't we be like before? Yes, but I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm a little not used to it. Xiao Chen sweated a little. Then can I push you tonight? I'm afraid not today. Tang Tang said with some depression. Damn, my sister is afraid that Yu Xiaochuan will touch me. So she took some emergency contraceptive pills a few days in advance. Her menstruation is coming. yen #@%. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Tang Tang was as tough as ever. Even if she became a beautiful sweet girl now, she couldn't change her manly character. Look at your disappointed look. Have you had thoughts about me for a long time? Last time when I had a cold at my house? The way you looked at me wasn't right. I knew you had thoughts about me. Tang Tang looked at Xiao Chen with a smile. Yes. Xiao Chen didn't care about anything now. He nodded and admitted it directly. At that time I thought, is my taste quite heavy? It's okay. But fortunately, your pill is quite magical. I'm thin where I should be thin. But the places you like to see are not thin, said Tang Tang. Can you not tempt me? Xiao Chen thought of the scene at the time, and his heart couldn't help but sway. His eyes also drifted to Tang Tang's chest. Look at you. Tang Tang couldn't help but laugh. Let me help you. Help me. Xiao Chen was stunned. Don't pretend to be pure. Tang Tang rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. What did you say to Yu Xiaochuan that day? What did you say I gave you? Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. He looked at Tang Tang with a little surprise. I didn't expect she was so bold. Okay, don't look at me. Although I haven't done it before, my skills should be good. Watching AV is not a rare thing for a manly woman, said Tang Tang. Chapter 410. Puff. Xiao Chen found that he couldn't be coy when he was with Tang Tang. Let's go to the bathroom. This Chong Sam is strangling me. It's almost deformed. Tang Tang began to unzip the Chong Sam as she walked. What deformed? Xiao Chen was stunned. You're thin now. How can the Chong Sam deform? It's not the Chong Sam. It's my breasts. Tang Tang took off half of the Chong Sam and stuck it on her waist. She was relieved. I'm thin, but my breasts aren't. They weren't so big before. It's not good if they're big, Xiao Chen said casually. It's good for you. It sounds cumbersome to me. But let's go. I can help you. Tang Tang pushed Xiao Chen into the bathroom. Xiao Chen was shocked. He had to admire Tang Tang. She was not shy at all. But this was good. He liked it. Goddess Shun probably wouldn't help him with this kind of thing for a while. He closed the bathroom door, and Spring Garden was locked inside. The readers who wanted to read it were not allowed to see it. It was a quiet night. In the early morning of the next day, Xiao Chen left quietly. Yu Xiaochuan would definitely take Tang Tang to visit some guests of the Yu family. So, it was not good for Xiao Chen to be here. If he weren't a cultivator, he probably wouldn't be able to walk at this moment. This night, he was tormented to the point where he couldn't get up. Tang Tang was a relatively bold woman who dared to try anything. So although Xiao Chen felt good, he also consumed a lot of physical strength. Walking out of the courtyard of the villa, he didn't walk far before a car drove over quickly. It was an Audi A8L, Yu Xiaochuan's car. Xiao Chen had seen this car before. The car drove so fast that Xiao Chen thought that Yu Xiaochuan was unhappy and wanted to kill him. But the car stopped in front of him. Yu Xiaochuan was excited. White Fox Hero, how is it? Tang Tang is not bad, right? Well, not bad. Xiao Chen's legs went weak at the thought of the previous scene. Haha, then get in the car. I'll send you back. Yu Xiaochuan invited. No need. I drove here. The car is parked nearby, said Xiao Chen. It's okay, then I'll send you to the car. Yu Xiaochuan insisted. All right. Xiao Chen nodded. Anyway, the photo of White Fox driving the Land Rover had already been exposed, so it didn't matter to him. When the time came, he could just say that he borrowed Xiao Chen's car. After getting into the car, Yu Xiaochuan started the engine and said, Hero White Fox, if you want to come in the future, just contact me directly and I'll arrange it for you. Yu Xiaochuan, do you have no feelings for Tang Tang now? Xiao Chen couldn't help but ask. In his opinion, this guy was retarded to a certain extent. Even if he wanted to curry favor with me, he didn't have to give me his new wife to play with, right? Hero White Fox, to tell you the truth, you also know that I practiced the chrysanthemum treasure book. So now I have no interest in women. Yu Xiaochuan said. So you can rest assured that Tang Tang and I will get along as sisters in the future. I won't touch her. Then don't scare her. Xiao Chen reminded. I won't. Yu Xiaochuan smiled shyly. Then if I have any trouble in the future, can I find you? Yes. Xiao Chen nodded and did not refuse. Since Yu Xiaochuan was already like this, the grudge between him and Xiao Chen in the past had also faded a lot. There was no substantial conflict of interest between the two of them, nor was there a situation where they could not coexist under the same sky. Great. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and parked the car next to the Land Rover according to Xiao Chen's instructions. At this moment, Yu Xiaochuan already knew the identity of Xiao Chen as White Fox, so even if he saw the car, he did not ask much. He just pretended not to notice and said, Hero White Fox, then I won't see you off. I'll go back to find Tang Tang and compare her statement. At that time, I will tell the Yu family that you are the pharmacist I invited to treat Tang Tang. The problem in her body has not been completely cured. If it is not treated regularly, it will return to its previous state. Yu Xiaochuan had already thought of an excuse. In fact, it was Xiao Chen who gave him the excuse, but he was happy to use it now. After getting into the car, Xiao Chen took out his phone and looked at the time. However, he realized that there was a string of missed calls. It was actually from Goddess Shen. Perhaps because he didn't pick up the call, she sent him a text. There were only 2 words in it. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat when he saw it. After hesitating for a moment, Xiao Chen still called Shen Jingxian. The phone rang for a while, but Shen Jingxian did not answer. Xiao Chen thought that Shen Jingxian had fallen asleep. When he was about to hang up, the call was connected. However, after the call was connected, no one spoke, only a slight breathing sound. Xiao Chen could tell that it was Shen Jingxuan's voice. Jingxian, Xiao Chen said. You, where are you? Shen Jingxian asked. I just came out of Yu's villa. Xiao Chen did not hide it. Oh, Shen Jingxian seemed to be relieved. You didn't lie to me this time? I didn't lie to you before, Xiao Chen said. Then you and Yi Xiaoye. Shen Jingxian left the wedding banquet today. She did not see Xiao Chen leave, so she deliberately asked her father to park the car near Xiao Chen's car, and waited for Xiao Chen to come out. She wanted to see what he would do after the wedding banquet. However, after waiting for a long time, she still did not see him, so she could only go home first. When she got home, Shen Jingxian tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. She could not help but call Xiao Chen. This was the first time she took the initiative to call Xiao Chen since the start of their Cold War. However, Xiao Chen didn't pick up. In fact, Xiao Chen had already entered the bathroom with Tang Tang at that time. He felt like he was on cloud 9 and couldn't hear anything. However, Xiao Chen did not answer the phone, which made Shin Jingxian even more confused. She called him a few more times, but he still did not answer. She could not help but angrily send 2 words over. She did not need to think to know what Xiao Chen and Tang Tang were doing. However, after sending it over, Shin Jingxian was a little regretful. Was she still the rational person she used to be? It seemed that after being with Xiao Chen, her emotions became unstable, and she was very easy to get angry. This had not happened in the past 10 years. Fortunately, Xiao Chen still remembered to call her back after having fun. My relationship with Yi Xiaoya is very complicated. I can't explain it clearly. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. You can't explain it to me? Shin Jingxian did not know why she suddenly felt wronged and ashamed. Xiao Chen did not hide anything from her before, but now, thinking of this, she directly hung up the phone. Xiao Chen looked at the phone that was hung up, and did not know whether to laugh or cry. Yi Xiaoya was not his woman. He also promised Yi Xiaoya to keep the matter of dual cultivation with Yi Xiaoya a secret, so even if it was Shin Jingxian, he could not casually say it. It was not that Xiao Chen deliberately deceived Yi Xiaoya, but he also had to be responsible for Yi Xiaoya. After all, it was related to Yi Xiaoya's clean reputation. If she had been clear about her relationship with Xiao Chen like Tang Tang, what would Xiao Chen have to hide? Alas! Xiao Chen could not help but sigh, feeling that his goddess's IQ had suddenly been pulled down. How could the smart goddess become a love idiot now? However, it was not Shin Jingxuan's fault. Love was blind most of the time, including Xiao Chen himself. When he was in number 1 middle school, his eyes were full of Shin Jingxian, and he ignored the good of the young lady. When he drove back to the villa, the young lady had already fallen asleep. She had eaten at the wedding banquet, so she would not go to Xiao Chen when she got home. Seeing that the door of Xiao Chen's room was closed, she did not disturb him. She did not expect that he was actually not at home. After parking the car in the yard, Xiao Chen tiptoed back to his room. After settling everything, he went upstairs to find Yi Xiaoya for dual cultivation. Maybe because of Tang Tang's serious kidney deficiency today, Xiao Chen did not have the usual impulse for Yi Xiaoya. It seemed that it was good to vent his desire before dual cultivation in the future, so that he would not have bad thoughts about Yi Xiaoya. In the blink of an eye, it was Friday. During this period, Xiao Chen was not short of money. The medicinal materials were given to him by Hong Zhu for free. He did not need to worry about making money anymore, and his days became a lot more leisurely. But to Xiao Chen's regret, there was still no news about the ancient jade. Although he posted a high reward for the task, no one contacted him, which made him feel somewhat helpless. This thing was really hard to find. As for the masked girl who said she would give him the ancient jade, there was no news. Xiao Chen secretly cursed the big liar. She made it sound nice, and said that she would give him the ancient jade after the matter was over. But the matter had passed for several days, and she did not come again. How could these martial arts people be so pompous now? They could say nice things, but if they could not do it, they should not say it. He had waited for so many days in vain. After Yang Tan failed in all aspects of coercion and temptation, he also stopped for a few days. Except for taking a seat during the break when Xiao Chen was not there. When Xiao Chen came back, he left without Xiao Chen saying anything. It was worth mentioning that the registration for the basketball game was coming to an end. On Friday afternoon, the registered players of each class came to the school gymnasium, ready to have a mixed game to select the official players and the substitute players. Of course, the strong ones would play, and the weak ones would wait for the spot, in case they needed to substitute. As for the selection, it was not possible, because there were only a few people in each class who signed up. Only one official player would be selected, and the others would be substitutes. Xiao Chen was also a registered player. He came to the gymnasium together with Zheng Xiaoquan, Lu Zhiming, Thin Monkey, and Ma Gangmen. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin also followed them. Cousin Menjing, that Yang Tan is sneaky. It seems that he is going to harm our cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe said. Should we go and have a look? Go and see what? Watch Xiao Chen get beaten up? Cheng Minjing asked. Chapter 411. Let's go and watch Yang Tan get beaten up, Jean Bebe said. Isn't he an expert from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Can Xiaochen defeat him? Cheng Minjing was slightly stunned. Besides, it's the stadium, and the teachers are there too. How can he fight in front of so many people? He can fight secretly. My cousin-in-law is a transformer, Jean Bebe said with a smile. Let's go and have a look. All right. Cheng Minjing didn't want to go at first. It was just a qualifier, and it wasn't intense at all. Even if she went, she would only be wasting time and watching everyone bicker about who would go up and who wouldn't. Song Hua naturally went too. She was also afraid that Xiao Chun would fight with Yang Jiannan after being at a disadvantage in the basketball game. In that case, it would be a big problem. When they arrived at the stadium, the people who signed up were divided into 2 teams. There was no requirement for the number of people in each team. As long as both teams were equal, it would be fine. Moreover, the teachers did not specify the specific positions and responsibilities of each person. It was because it was impossible to have any teamwork in the first qualifier. Everyone was not familiar with each other. How could they cooperate? The main thing was for the PE teachers to see the individual standards of these people and gather the good ones into a team to participate in the competition. Xiao Chun, Ma Gangmen, and Zheng Xiaoquan were in the same team, while Yang Tan and Xia Shibin chose another team. His purpose was to teach Xiao Chun a lesson. How could he be in the same team as them? In this way, grade 12 class 1, which was not very good at sports, suddenly became the class with the largest number of people participating in the competition. The 2 teams started to warm up under the guidance of the 2 PE teachers. Then they told them some things to take note of. The students who came to watch sat on the chairs next to the stadium. Some even took out drinks to drink, and some went to buy snacks. It was just like a sports meeting. Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe found a seat and sat down. Lu Zhiming ran over with a lot of popcorn and drinks. He passed them to Jean Bebe happily. Bebe, how is it? Are you satisfied with these? In fact, Lu Zhiming had given up pursuing Cheng Minjing. However, because of the special relationship between Cheng Minjing, Jean Bebe, and Xiao Chun, he still had to please them. Not bad. Little Lu, you did very well. Don't worry. I have a very good relationship with Swordsman White Fox. I will put in a good word for you next time. Jean Bebe took the snacks and praised him. Bebe, when did you become so close to Hero White Fox? Cheng Minjing was baffled. If I have a good relationship with Sister Jingxian, it naturally means that I have a good relationship with brother-in-law, said Jean Bebe. Oh, don't call me brother-in-law. I can't even tell if you're talking about Xiao Chun or White Fox. Cheng Minjing slapped her forehead and was speechless. Xiao Chun, White Fox, you are so silly that you can't tell them apart, said Jean Bebe with a smile. Then call them by their names. Cheng Minjing thought that Jean Bebe was mocking her. She immediately glared at her. Lu Zhiming rubbed his hands and sat down with Slim Monkey. Then he said worriedly, Minjing Bebe, do you think Boss Xiaochen will be at a disadvantage? He doesn't have any internal force. What if he is at a disadvantage in Yang Tan's hands? There are so many teachers watching. They are only competing in basketball skills. There shouldn't be any problems, Cheng Minjing said. Actually, Xiaochen's basketball skills are quite good. Wow, cousin Minjing is starting to pay attention to her cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe giggled. I told you not to call me cousin-in-law or brother-in-law. I can't tell them apart. Cheng Minjing said angrily. Then don't tell them apart. They are about the same, said Jean Bebe. About the same. You can sleep with your cousin-in-law today, and your brother-in-law tomorrow. Isn't it about the same? Cheng Minjing said angrily. It really is about the same. Jean Bebe mumbled. I don't want to explain it to you. You won't understand. Cheng Minjing was somewhat speechless. I don't want to explain it to you either. You won't understand, Jean Bebe said in a low voice. Are you asking for a beating? Cheng Minjing was furious. Was Jean Bebe purposely bickering with her? All right. Let's not fight among ourselves. Let's keep a close eye on them. Don't let Yang Tan play any dirty tricks. Lu Zhiming hurried to smooth things over. Slim Monkey, have you bought the binoculars? Yes. Slim Monkey nodded. He took out 4 binoculars from his bag and distributed them to Lu Jinming. It seemed like he was really going to watch the game. The PE teacher finally finished explaining the rules. These people did not play basketball often. Therefore, the PE teacher could only repeat the rules tirelessly in case those who did not understand went up and embarrassed themselves. Alright, I hope that everyone can give their best. After all, this is the last large-scale activity in our high school years. Next, you will be preparing for the college entrance examination. Even if there are activities, there won't be such a large-scale basketball league. The players who signed up for the game nodded. In fact, except for a few who had ulterior motives, most of them signed up for the game so that they would not have any regrets in their high school life. I won't say much. Before the game, the boys of your two teams should discuss with each other and see how to play. That way, you can have a preliminary understanding of each other. The PE teacher said to the players of both teams. Xiao Chun was about to turn around and discuss with his teammates. However, before he left, a hand blocked his way. It was Xia Shibin. What are you doing? Are you in the wrong team? You are over there. Xiao Chun pointed to the opposite team. Xia Shibin's face was a little ugly. Xiao Chun simply did not treat him as a master from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. This guy is really annoying. If we weren't in school, I would have already beaten him up. Xiao Chun, I will ask you a question now. Xia Shibin naturally stopped Xiao Chun for Yang Tan. At this time, Yang Tan walked over and looked at Xiao Chun. He said indifferently, "Are you willing to change seats with me?" "I'm not willing," Xiao Chun replied expressionlessly. He very good. Since you are not willing, then I advise you not to participate in the basketball game. Give up as soon as possible. Otherwise, when you are in the hospital, your seat will be mine. Yang Tan looked at Xiao Chun arrogantly. The threat in his eyes was undisguised. You came to find me just to say this nonsense. I know you will definitely use some tricks in a while. It doesn't matter. Xiao Chun said. Don't you know that when I was in number 1 middle school, I was called the Prince of Basketball? Don't you know that I used to be the prodigal Xiao Chun? When it comes to tricks, I am better than you. Let's wait and see. Yang Tan did not expect Xiao Chun to be so arrogant. He did not say much and turned to leave. He already knew that Xiao Chun was a good-for-nothing without internal energy. Therefore, when he used a little internal energy, Xiao Chun could only admit defeat. Do you dare to make a bet with me? The reason why Yang Tan was so proud was that he had investigated before. When Xiao Chun was in number 1 middle school, his last basketball game was tricked by Chun Jinping's internal energy. What do you want to bet? Xiao Chun asked. If our team wins, you will change seats with me. Yang Tan said. Do you dare to? If you are a man, say it. This isn't right? If you win, I will change seats with you. If I win, I won't get anything? I won't get anything? Xiao Chun looked at Yang Tan with a faint smile. You can't win, but for the sake of fairness, you can make a request. Yang Tan said indifferently. If I win, you get out of this school. Xiao Chun said. That won't do. I can't leave whether I win or lose. I have a mission. Yang Tan was not stupid. Although he felt that he would definitely not lose, he would not make a promise on this kind of thing. How about this? If you lose, you get that kid Qiao En's out of Songning City. I believe you can do it, right? He is from the Law Enforcement Hall of the Warrior Guild. It shouldn't be difficult for you to get him to leave, right? Xiao Chun said sarcastically. If you can't even do something like this, then I'll really doubt your ability. Don't bet with me. Why? Yang Tan was stunned. What does this have to do with Qiao En's? Why does it have to do with him? What does this have to do with Xiao Chun? Xiao En's and Xiao Chun did not have any interaction. Wasn't Xiao En's here to investigate the White Fox? He likes Cheng Minjing. I don't need to say more about the relationship between Cheng Minjing and me, right? Xiao Chun rolled his eyes. He had already thought of an excuse. Oh, Yang Tan was stunned. He seemed to vaguely remember that Xiao En said that he and Cheng Minjing were former classmates, and he was going to visit the Cheng family. Thinking about it, this was not a loss for him at all. So he said, Okay, if you win, I will let him go. Okay, then the bet is in effect. After Yang Tan finished speaking, he turned around and walked to his team. In fact, the so-called discussion of countermeasures, everyone couldn't come up with a solution. Now everyone didn't know each other's level. They all felt that they were very bad *SS, and they were not convinced by each other. They all felt that their ideas were right. However, it was still fine on Xiao Chen's side. Ma Gangmin directly glared and said to the other team members, "Don't talk. Listen to what Boss Xiao Chen has to say." Ma Gangmin was a school bully. Although they heard that he was beaten by Xiao Chen a while ago, it didn't affect everyone's fear of him. Moreover, he spoke for Xiao Chen, who beat him up, so these team members didn't dare to be rash. "In a while, try to pass the basketball to me. I will attack," Xiao Chen said. Okay, everyone agreed, but it was unknown whether they took it to heart. Anyway, when the game was on, it wasn't up to Xiao Chen and Ma Gangmin to decide. Moreover, this basketball game was a large-scale school event. Ma Gangmin was just threatening them verbally. Even if these people agreed on the surface, Ma Gangmin didn't dare to really beat them up. If he beat them up, who would participate in the game? As the referee blew the whistle, the two teams on the basketball court gathered and stood on one side. Don't make any big movements in the game. The game comes second, and friendship comes first. Just play your level. Don't think about those useless little tricks. After the referee finished, he asked the students on both sides to stand. Chapter 412. Xia Shibin looked at Xiao Chen provocatively and gave him the middle finger. However, Xiao Chen happened to turn his head to talk to Ma Gangmin at the side, so he did not see it. Xia Shibin was a little depressed. If Xiao Chen did not see it, wouldn't it be a waste of his gesture? This kind of gesture was meant for the parties involved to see. If the parties involved could not see it, what was the difference between it and him doing it at home? Therefore, Xia Shibin had no choice but to keep his finger pointed at Xiao Chen, hoping that he would turn his head to look at his finger after he finished speaking. Otherwise, it would be a waste of his gesture. Jean Bebe pointed at Xia Shibin and said to the PE teacher, "Teacher, there is something wrong with Xia Shibin's finger. He wants to withdraw from the competition." The PE teacher looked up and saw Xia Shibin raising his middle finger. He was a little annoyed at once. "Xia Shibin, what's wrong with you? Are you going to compete or not? If not, get off the stage." My finger hurts a little. I just casually raised it." Xia Shibin was very depressed and could only withdraw his finger resentfully. At this time, Xiao Chen also turned his head. He gave Xia Shibin the middle finger twice in surprise and said, "Is there something wrong with your finger?" Xiao Chen's tone and actions seemed to be copied from him. But Xia Shibin knew that Xiao Chen was looking down on him. However, he could not say anything. He could only snort coldly and stare at Xiao Chen, wishing he could go over and beat him up. "Both teams get into position," the referee shouted. With the referee's jump ball in the middle of the court, the competition officially began. Although the skills of these students were not very good, they still performed well. Obviously, they had watched a lot of competitions and were good at pretending to be cool. However, they were all the kind of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. They began to snatch the ball fiercely and showed off their prowess. They had forgotten their promise to pass the ball to Xiao Chen before they went on the court. But very quickly, the ball fell into the hands of Yang Tan. Facing the burly Yang Tan and Xia Shibin, who was opening the way, these students were a little timid. Some of them wanted to go up and snatch the ball, but Xia Shibin's small action made them unable to straighten their backs. Xia Shibin was a martial artist. It was too easy for him to pull some tricks behind the referee's back. Although the other students could not find any evidence, they knew that it was Xia Shibin's tricks. They knew that they were not to be trifled with. So no one dared to go up to defend and let them charge across the field. Xiao Chen was really helpless. These people, they were the kind of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. They felt that Ma Gangmen did not dare to attack them openly, so they did not take the previous words to heart. Now that the ball was snatched, and they met a ruthless person, they hid behind. There was no other way. It could only be Xiao Chen, Ma Gangmen, and Zheng Xiaoquan rushing over to watch them. However, Yang Tan was obviously a veteran on the court. He was not just a simple martial artist. When he saw Xiao Chun rushing over, he suddenly dribbled and changed direction. Then, he directly passed Xiao Chun and ran to the basket. F***CK, it's inner force again. Xiao Chun almost got angry. Back then, Chun Jinping used inner force, and now Yang Tan was also using inner force. Xiao Chun wanted to play with him properly, but this guy broke the rules first. If he did not use inner force at the last minute, he would not be able to pass Xiao Chun's defense at all. Only with the speed of a martial artist, Xiao Chun could not defend against it with the standard of an ordinary person. Yang Tan was ready to shoot, but Xiao Chun quickly ran under the basket. He did not go up to block, but just waited below. This made Yang Tan slightly stunned. He thought to himself that this kid knew that he could not defend, so he gave up or something. He had already run over, but he did not jump up and let me go. However, Yang Tan had already taken off. He could not care so much and directly shot. However, what made Yang Tan's eyes almost pop out was that the basketball that should have entered the basket hit the side of the basket directly, bounced up, and fell down. It happened to be caught by Xiao Chun, who was standing below. What was going on? Yang Tan was quite confident in his inner force. Not to mention a basketball. He could even throw a cannonball in, but he missed. Xiao Chun picked up the basketball and ran. He ignored the stunned Yang Tan standing there, and sneered in his heart. I am a cultivator after all. Can't I handle your inner force? He directly used air manipulation, and the basketball changed direction. After being stunned for a while, Yang Tan realized that it was not good. However, he saw that Xiao Chun had already run away, and Xia Shibin was already chasing after him. He quickly ran to chase after him, but Xiao Chun's speed was too fast. Xia Shibin could not catch up with him, even though he was following behind. Xia Shibin did not want to run too fast compared to ordinary people, so he did not use his inner force. However, it seemed that he had to use his inner force now, so he quickly used his inner force to chase after him. However, before Xiao Chun reached the basket, he started shooting from beyond the three-point line, which caught Xia Shibin unprepared. When he used his inner force to catch up, Xiao Chun had already completed the shot. The basketball brushed the board and went into the basket. Xiao Chun scored. As the scoring began, the enthusiasm of the students watching the game soared. They all applauded and cheered. It was very exciting. Come on, cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe waved the snacks in her hand to encourage Xiao Chun. Don't call him that. Chung Minjing glared at Jean Bebe. You can cheer for him, but don't call him cousin-in-law. Oh, come on, brother-in-law Xiao Chun. Jean Bebe roared. Just sit down. Chung Minjing pressed Jean Bebe back to her seat. Let me do it. Lu Zhenming ran to the edge of the court and waved his hands. Boss Xiao Chun, come on. Beat Yang Tan and Xia Shibin. The game continued. Although Xiao Chun scored, the basketball still fell into someone else's hands. Xia Shibin's eyes were sharp. He snatched it and threw it to Yang Tan. Yang Tan ran to shoot. Xiao Chun chased after him, and Ma Gangmin defended in front. However, Yang Tan went around him in a flash. Then he suddenly pointed with his left hand. Ma Gangmin directly squatted on the ground, without being seen by the people in the court. In fact, it only made him lose his breath. He did not cause any damage. Therefore, when the referee saw it, he could only think that Ma Gangmin had lost his breath. I knew you couldn't defend, trash. Yang Tan scolded Ma Gangmin with a smile as he passed by him. Then he jumped and shot. Ma Gangmin only stood up after a long time of pain. However, it was too late to stop Yang Tan now. None of the players on Xiao Chun's side dared to stop Yang Tan. Otherwise, Ma Gangmin would be the next example. Although the referee saw this scene, he could not determine whether Yang Tan had secretly done something. However, as long as no one saw it, even if he had done something, it was because he was smart. Even in an international competition, dirty tricks were still prohibited. There was nothing that could be done about it. However, if you could do it without anyone knowing, it would be a sign of your capability. If Yang Tan could do the same in the competition against number 1 high school, it would not be difficult for number 2 high school to win. Therefore, the referee was a bit selfish. He did not question Yang Tan. Moreover, he roughly identified a few people who would go to the competition. They were Xiao Chun, Yang Tan and Xia Shibin. The basketball was about to enter the basket. However, for some unknown reason, it knocked against the basket and bounced out. Xiao Chun, who had rushed there, caught it. Damn! Yang Tan could not believe it. I missed it again? How is this possible? He was not only a martial artist, but he also used to play basketball when he was young. How could it be possible that he missed it twice? Could it be that there was something wrong with the basketball and the basket? Were they not the normal size? However, there was no problem with the feel of the ball. There was also no problem with the height of the basket. Yang Tan was very depressed and unhappy. However, this time, he had learned his lesson. He did not stare blankly. Instead, he saw Xiao Chun snatch the ball and directly ran over to chase after him. Although Yang Tan's movements were smooth and looked very cool, the audience outside the court could not help but be a little disappointed with him since he did not score twice. Ha 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 ha. Jean Bebe even laughed. Stinky hand. Even the referee was very regretful. Yang Tan's movements were very standard, and he had a lot of tricks, but he did not score. Xiao Chun's speed was very fast. In Yang Tan's opinion, it was really not easy for a person without inner force to have such a physique and quality. However, for a martial artist without inner force, no matter how good his physique was, he was just an ordinary person. It was not worth mentioning. Xiao Chun was lucky and had a good shot. Yang Tan decided to secretly use a trick to make Xiao Chun lie on the ground directly. It would be better if he could not play. Therefore, when he passed by Xiao Chun, he seemed to be chasing after him. However, he secretly stretched out his left hand and touched Xiao Chun's acupuncture point. Xiao Chun casually turned sideways and directly dodged it. Not bad, Trash. You have good skills. It seems that you have practiced a lot in order to cultivate inner force all these years. However, trash is trash. It is useless in front of us martial artists. Yang Tan could not help but make sarcastic remarks when his attack did not succeed. Who is trash? We will know in a while. Xiao Chun sneered and said, I advise you not to play tricks. Otherwise, if I do, I can kill you. Damn sure. Then why don't you do it for me to see? Yang Tan sneered disapprovingly. Slap. Xiao Chun slapped Yang Tan's face, causing him to be dumbfounded. You hit me? Yang Tan did not expect that Xiao Chun's so-called trick was to slap him. Wasn't this a foul? Although he was angry, he was also waiting for the referee to blow the whistle. However, after waiting and waiting, nothing happened. Xiao Chun had already run to the three-point line and directly shot. Score. Yang Tan was dumbfounded. What was going on? He directly shouted to stop. The referee looked at Yang Tan with some confusion. Student Yang Tan, what's the matter? Xiao Chun slapped me. It's a foul. Yang Tan was a little flustered and exasperated. Did the referee slip away just now and didn't see it or something? From what he said, it seemed like he didn't know about this. Chapter 413. What? The referee was stunned and looked at Yang Tan strangely. When did Xiao Chun hit you? Teacher, you might not have noticed it just now, but the students below the stage and my teammates can prove it. Yang Tan pointed to his red face and said, and my face can prove it too. Xiao Chun hit someone and it's a foul. Student Xiao Chun, did you hit him? The referee was a little baffled. He didn't see Xiao Chun hit someone, but half of Yang Tan's face was already swollen. It wasn't like this before. Did he really get hit? No. Xiao Chun was also baffled. When did I hit him? You. Teacher, everyone can testify. Yang Tan was furious. Who can testify? Ask them who saw it. Xiao Chun had a look of indignation on his face as he said, I say, Yang Tan, can you not be so shameless? You saw that I scored and didn't want the score to take effect, so you deliberately hit yourself and made your face swollen. You want to frame me for a foul and hit you? How can you be like this? You mother ***. Yang Tan was so angry that he wanted to curse. However, he saw that the students outside and in the stadium were all looking at Yang Tan inexplicably. Obviously, they didn't see the scene of Xiao Chun hitting someone. No one could testify for him. Xiaoxibin, did you see it? Yang Tan was so angry that his face was red, and his eyes were about to spit fire. I saw it. Although Xia Shibin didn't see it, he could only bite the bullet and say that he saw it. Teacher, Xia Shibin and Yang Tan are in cahoots. I suspect that he is perjury. Jean Bebe raised her hand and said. Moreover, he was so far away just now. How could he see it? Did anyone else see it? The referee nodded and asked the others. No one answered, but they all shook their heads to show that they didn't see it. Yang Tan was about to explode. Is there such a thing? He was hit, but he said that he didn't see it? How could this be possible? However, Yang Tan also knew that it couldn't be done. Now only Xia Shibin could prove it. So many others said that they didn't see it. It was useless even if Xia Shibin said it to the heavens. Xia Shibin. Yang Tan yelled angrily. Brother Yang, what's wrong? Xia Shibin responded quickly. Don't do anything later. Take your phone and record it for me. Let's see if Xiao Chun still dares to hit people. Yang Tan ordered angrily. Brother Yang. But I didn't bring my phone. Xia Shibin patted his pocket and said. Where's your phone? Yang Tan glared at him and thought to himself. Are you an idiot? Even if you didn't bring it, you should have said that you did. You could have scared Xiao Chun so that he wouldn't dare to act rashly. Aren't we playing basketball? I thought it would be uncomfortable to put it in my pocket, so I put it in the classroom. Xia Shibin said. Damn it. Yang Tan snorted. Then you better watch him. Don't do anything, but keep an eye on Xiao Chun. Don't let him get the ball. All right. Xia Shibin quickly nodded. The game continued. Yang Tan continued to play gloomily. Xiao Chun grinned at him. However, Xiao Chun was probably the only one who used the power of a cultivator in daily life. He used the power of a cultivator to cook. He used it in basketball. And he even used the illusion. Therefore, other than Yang Tan, the person involved, no one else saw Xiao Chun hit people. This time, the basketball was directly grabbed by Xiao Chun. Xia Shibin and Yang Tan were like two mountains, blocking in front of Xiao Chun. They wouldn't let him pass no matter what. However, Xiao Chun didn't care and directly rushed towards the two of them, dribbling the ball to hit people. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin looked at each other and were overjoyed. The two of them didn't dodge. In order to make it look real, they were directly hit by Xiao Chun and fell to the ground at the same time. They fell to the ground and squatted down in pain. Meanwhile, Xiao Chun directly shot the ball. It was different from the previous three-point line shot. This time, the distance was further. Everyone thought it was impossible to score, but under everyone's shocked gazes, the basketball went into the basket and scored. Then, there was an uproar outside the court. Not only were there cheers, but there was also a lot of laughter. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin were overjoyed. They thought to themselves, someone finally saw through it. So what if you made the shot? Even if you are awesome and skilled, you still dribbled the ball and hit someone. However, what they didn't know was that the scene that the spectators saw was that after Xiao Chun was stopped by the two of them, he directly stopped and shot the ball, while the two of them fell backwards. Although the fall was very natural, there was no doubt that it was a fake, because Xiao Chun didn't touch them at all. The game didn't stop but continued. This made Yang Tan and Xia Shibin, who were sitting on the ground, a little stunned. Originally, they were waiting for the referee to pronounce the verdict, but after waiting for a while, the game continued. They looked up at the scoreboard and saw that Xiao Chun's shot was effective, causing Yang Tan to suddenly explode. Stop. Just now, Xiao Chun dribbled the ball and hit someone. Why didn't he get a foul? Yang Tan yelled. The referee was amused by Yang Tan this time. I say, Yang Tan, you and Xia Shibin pretended to fall. Xiao Chun had already shot the ball. Why did he still hit you? Impossible. He clearly hit us before shooting the ball. Yang Tan was about to explode. How could this referee invert the truth? He angrily looked at the others in the court. Everyone should have seen it this time, right? Brother Yang, I saw it. I can testify. Xia Shibin saw the awkward silence again, so he stood up and said. However, when Xia Shibin stood up, it caused everyone on the court to laugh. He faked with Yang Tan. How could he testify? Testimonies had no value at all. Yang Tan, Xia Shibin, if you don't want to play, go down. Don't frame your classmates. We saw it very clearly. No one hit you. The referee said with a frown. But, Yang Tan felt that it was a little unbelievable. How is it possible? Could it be that I was hallucinating? But if I was hallucinating, Xia Shibin couldn't be hallucinating too, right? What he didn't know was that besides him and Xia Shibin, everyone else in the audience was hallucinating. It couldn't be helped. The game could only continue. No matter how angry Yang Tan was, he could only continue to play gloomily. However, he was also careful now. He tried his best to lead Xiao Chun to the public's attention. He also exaggerated some eye-catching movements to attract everyone's attention. Xiao Chun's team finally knew how powerful Xiao Chun was. They didn't try to be a hero. If they had the ball, they would pass it to Xiao Chun. Although Yang Tan and Xia Shibin's defense was tight, Xiao Chun often shot once he passed half court. It was impossible for them to defend. Finally, the ball fell into Xia Shibin's hands. Xia Shibin finally had a chance to show off. He had been holding it in for too long. However, he also knew that it was impossible to recover the score. The gap was too big. He could only show off his personal charm to win back some face. This time, he was ready to show off his unique skill, a three-point line slam dunk. Jump from the three-point line slam dunk. This required a lot of skills and jumping ability. The body must also be coordinated. In short, there were a lot of requirements. However, for a martial artist like Yang Tan, it wasn't too difficult. Xiao Chun could shoot from half court. It wasn't difficult for him to do a three-point line slam dunk. However, something that Yang Tan didn't expect happened. He held the ball in one hand and was preparing to shoot. The ball in his hand was unstable, and it actually rolled out of his hand. Although this kind of mistake had happened in regular games, it was very rare. Now it happened to Yang Tan. He was still working, but the ball fell from his hand. Xiao Chun, who was guarding below, picked it up and turned to run. F***CK. Yang Tan's hand touched the basket and completed the slam dunk. However, he didn't feel any sense of accomplishment at all. How could the ball in his hand leave his hand? There was no wind here, but he felt as if there was an external force pushing the ball out. When he came down, Yang Tan turned his head. Xiao Chun was already gone. Xia Shibin couldn't stop him at all. He went around and made a three-point shot. He scored again. Xiao Chun's side had always been 3 points. Not even 2 points. The score gap was obvious. In the blink of an eye, it was 39-0. There was no possibility of a comeback. Yang Tan was disheartened, but his eyes turned. He didn't snatch the ball anymore. He just wanted to vent his anger and planned to cause trouble for Xiao Chun. He gave Xia Shibin a look, and then made a hand gesture to slap him. What he meant was for Xia Shibin to slap Xiao Chun to death. At most, he would be penalized for a foul. Anyway, his side couldn't win. Even if it was a foul, it didn't matter. Xia Shibin nodded to show that he understood. Therefore, Xia Shibin waited for the opportunity to make a move. Yang Tan was covering by the side. It was best if he could block the referee's sight. It didn't matter if he couldn't block it. Anyway, he couldn't win. Now he just didn't want to let Xiao Chun have it easy. 2 people, one on the left and one on the right, attacked Xiao Chun. Previously, Yang Tan had hinted to Xiao Chun. So when he saw the two rushing over, he knew that Xia Shibin was going to slap him. He couldn't help but sneer, pretend that he didn't know, and continue to prepare for the shot. Suddenly, Yang Tan stretched out his hands to block the referee's sight. Xia Shibin immediately understood. He raised his hand and slapped Xiao Chun's cheek. Pa! There was a crisp sound. Xia Shibin's strength wasn't weak. Although he didn't use his inner force, it was also the limit of his strength. If this slap continued, Xiao Chun would definitely become a pig's head. However, what surprised Xia Shibin was that he didn't hear Xiao Chun scream as he expected. Instead, it was Yang Tan who screamed. Xia Shibin suddenly woke up and saw that his palm was directly printed on Yang Tan's face. The half of Yang Tan's face that wasn't injured was swollen from Xia Shibin's slap. On the other side, Xiao Chun smoothly shot and scored. The crowd cheered, mixed with mocking laughter. Chapter 414. Xia Shibin. What the F***CK? Yang Tan was enraged. He widened his eyes and stared at Xia Shibin furiously. Are you out of your mind? Why did you hit me? Brother Yang, I didn't do it on purpose. I originally wanted to hit Xiaochen. Who knew that it would suddenly become you? I misjudged you. Xia Shibin looked like he was about to cry. He was also a little depressed as he carefully explained. Ha 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 ha. The audience burst into laughter. Oh, I know. Xia Shibin was the one who hit me just now. He falsely accused brother-in-law Xiaochen. Now he wants to falsely accuse me again. In the end, he didn't hit me clearly, and everyone saw through him. Jean Bebe yelled. Suddenly, there was a burst of laughter in the field and among the audience. These two brats are so sneaky. They definitely hit themselves just now. But they are so ruthless. They actually hurt themselves in exchange for the opponent's foul. A student said. Didn't they fake it just now? It's mainly because they are too lousy. Lu Jinming said. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin's expressions were extremely ugly. Yang Tan glared at Xia Shibin fiercely. He was too ashamed to stay in the field anymore. He shouted, "Referee, substitute me. I'm injured. I need to rest." After saying that, Yang Tan turned around and left the field, regardless of whether the referee agreed or not. Actually, at this point in the game, although the time was not over yet, everyone knew that the outcome had been decided. There was no point in continuing the game. However, the referee was also a little embarrassed. The exciting game was about to end abruptly. At this time, there was a sudden commotion at the entrance of the stadium. A girl in disheveled clothes ran in a panic and exclaimed, "There's a pervert! There's a pervert! Pervert!" Everyone was stunned. Where was the pervert? However, they saw that the girl's pants were not fastened properly. The belt that was supposed to be fastened was not even fastened properly. She looked a little embarrassed. Where is the pervert? What's going on? A PE teacher quickly walked over and asked. In the toilet. In the outdoor toilet. The girl said while panting. She was obviously still in shock and frightened. Outdoor toilet? The PE teacher was stunned. The outdoor toilet was built on the field next to the stadium. It was an old-fashioned and relatively simple toilet. Usually, it was rarely used except during sports events. Today, the girl was probably here to watch the basketball game. She did not want to go back to the teaching building to use the toilet, so she went to the outdoor toilet. However, when she unbuttoned her pants and squatted, she accidentally glanced at the bottom of the toilet and saw a man with his eyes and mouth wide open, drinking her urine. The girl was immediately scared silly. She screamed, pulled up her pants and ran. She didn't care whether she had finished peeing or not. She ran back to the school's gymnasium to complain. Attention boys, follow us to the toilet to catch the pervert. When the PE teacher heard that there were all perverts in the toilet, he immediately said to the male students present, however, when the time comes, don't do anything. Just surround them. We the PE teachers will go and catch them. Firstly, the students didn't know how to fight. It wouldn't be good if they were injured by the bad guys. Secondly, the students didn't know how to hold back. What if a group of people surrounded the pervert and beat him to death? The PE teacher waved his hand and ordered everyone. In addition, the referee also heard the situation, so he said to Xiao Chun and the others, "This match, the player on the right side wins. Alright, everyone go and block the pervert." The three PE teachers took a group of students to the school's outdoor toilet. As a result, they saw a man running out of the outdoor toilet, jumping over the wall, and running out of the school. Xiao Chun looked at the back of the man and was slightly shocked. He looks familiar. This seems to be the pervert that I saw in the toilet of Shanty Town when I sent Kerlin home that day. At least judging from the figure behind, the two people were similar. It should be the same person. However, Xiao Chun didn't try to chase after him. After all, he didn't want to expose himself in the school. He was not White Fox now, so he didn't need to care about other people's business. The three PE teachers quickly caught up to the wall and climbed up, but they couldn't see the man anymore. They felt a little regretful and returned to the students, saying, "We will call the police immediately. Here, I hope you can inform each other to stay away from the outdoor toilet for now. After all, there are not many people here, and it's not safe. Our sports group will work with the school security team to send people to patrol around the toilet. Later, we will make a school-wide announcement." The PE teacher who spoke was the leader of the sports group, and also the initiator of this basketball activity. The students all nodded. As for the girl, she was taken to the school clinic by her good friend to rest, because she was shocked. Cousin Menjing, let's go and catch the pervert, shall we? Jean Bebe thought it was fun, so she suggested. What? Be careful not to be caught by the pervert. Perverts love girls with big breasts like you the most. Chung Menjing glared at her and thought. Jean Bebe has nothing better to do. Why does she want to catch a pervert? Cousin-in-law, what do you think? Jean Bebe asked. Hee, aren't the teachers responsible for catching the pervert? Let's stay out of it. Xiaochen was wondering if the two perverts were the same one. It seemed to be the same one. However, this guy was really a pervert. The girl had already told him what had happened. What puzzled Xiaochen was that the pervert not only peeped at her, but also went to the toilet to drink urine. His taste was really strange. The basketball game ended abruptly because of the pervert. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin left in disgrace. They didn't come to see the pervert at all, and went back to the classroom first. Since there was nothing else to do here, the PE teacher stayed to patrol the area, while the students left for the classroom. Sun Abayo glanced at the top of the wall in the school, and found no one was looking for him. Then he dashed out from the corner. He was wearing a black raincoat, which was stained with feces and urine. Sun Abayo licked his lips with a satisfied expression on his face. He dashed away quickly, and got into a shabby minivan. Sun Abayo sat cross-legged, with a lustful look in his eyes. Sun Abayo was a pervert. When he was young, he had a fight with his friends, and was pushed into the toilet's feces pit. It was winter at that time. The feces were frozen into ice, so Sun Abayo didn't drown. However, as a child, he couldn't get out of the pit no matter how hard he tried. Later, his friends all went home. No one cared about Sun Abayo anymore. He was alone in the toilet, frightened and scared. No one answered his call. He had no choice but to walk back and forth under the toilet. Accidentally, he walked to the female toilet next to it. Looking up from the rectangular hole, a little girl with a ponytail happened to come to the toilet. She took off her pants, and a stream of urine fell from the sky, drenching Sun Abayo's face. At first, Sun Abayo was anxious and scared. He quickly raised his head and wanted to call for help, but the warm urine poured directly into his mouth, choking him and making him unable to speak. For the first time, his eyes saw a girl who had a completely different physiological structure from him. After the little girl went to the toilet, she left. Sun Abayo finally climbed up the feces pit with the help of his grandfather, who was looking for him in the evening. When he got home, Sun Abayo wasn't afraid, and he didn't have nightmares at night. Instead, his mind kept circling around the scene of peeing in the toilet. The faint smell of urine made Sun Abayo's heart beat fast. He didn't feel disgusted, but he was a little excited. He even missed the feeling from before. After a few days, Sun Abayo took a small stool and jumped into the feces pit. He began his life of peeping and drinking urine. All kinds of women made him excited day after day, year after year. Sun Abayo grew up in the heart of a pervert. On the surface, he looked like an introverted loser, but in his heart, he was actually an incomparably perverted pervert. Finally, one day, he met an old man in the toilet who had the same hobby as him. This old man didn't say his name. He only said that he was called Shishan Old Pervert. Thus, the two of them, one old and one young, agreed to go to the toilet together every day to peep and drink urine. Previously, Sun Abayo was younger and didn't know what perverted was. He only knew that doing this would bring him excitement. So he called Shishan Old Pervert as Shishan Old Man. The pronunciation was similar, and he had been mispronouncing it. Later on, when he grew up, he gradually understood that the old pervert was called Shishan Old Pervert. And suddenly one day, Shishan Old Pervert told him that he had something to do and had to leave the city. Before he left, he gave him a mental cultivation method that could be cultivated, called Evil Spirit Perverted Heaven Technique. Sun Abayo officially became an evil cultivator, and he discovered that women's urine, especially the urine of young girls and virgin girls, could assist his cultivation. Thinking about it, it was no wonder that when he was in the toilet with Shishan Old Pervert, Whenever there were young girls, that old thing would always go first. Son Abayo's grandfather died, and so did his grandmother. He didn't have parents since he was young, so he became an orphan. His only joy every day was peeping. But with the development of time, these simple outdoor toilets without flushing facilities became fewer and fewer. Only some of the shanty towns and old city areas that had not been renovated existed, and the rest were only found in schools. Son Abayo also found it harder and harder to find this kind of toilet. Even in the villages, there were toilets in their own yards. There were no outdoor toilets at all. This made Son Abayo's cultivation even more difficult. Because of the reduction of toilets, he couldn't just commit crimes in one place. He had to change his location frequently. Chapter 4:15. Because there were relatively few toilets, once he squatted in one place for a long time, he would eventually be discovered. He had to change places. A few days ago, he had just fled to Songning City. As a result, he finally found a shanty town. He was waiting for an opportunity to peep and drink urine. He didn't expect his first prey to be a little beauty. Looking at Kerlin in white, Son Abayo was so excited that he was trembling. According to his many years of observation experience, this girl was still a virgin. The urine of a virgin was a great supplement for his cultivation. However, this little beauty was too cunning. Just as she was about to take off her pants, she saw Son Abayo under the latrine pit. She shouted in alarm. Then, her boyfriend broke in, and Son Abayo had to choose to escape. He was very upset. The first time he chose a good place, he failed. In desperation, he didn't dare to come again. He was afraid that the little beauty would report him. He was also afraid that the little beauty would tell the neighbors to squat in the toilet to catch him. After Son Abayo left, he didn't go back. Instead, he found the nearby Songning Second High School and found an outdoor toilet here. Although there were relatively few people in the outdoor toilet, it was at least a foothold. Son Abayo first found an escape route and stationed himself in the toilet. For the whole day, nothing happened. Not a single girl came to the toilet. However, in the evening, a boy and a girl came to the toilet to have an affair. He thought that after the couple was done, they could pee or something. He didn't expect that the girl would just pee on the ground. This made him so angry that he wanted to go up and beat the B*tch up. Who asked you to waste? Who asked you to waste? However, he didn't dare to do so. He still wanted to continue to stay here. The next day, the opportunity finally came. However, when Son Abayo was enjoying himself halfway, he was discovered by the girl. Son Abayo wanted to vomit blood. Why am I so unlucky? Last time, I didn't succeed, so I had to change places. This time, I only succeeded halfway, but I had to escape again. Originally, he was hoping to get lucky and see if the girl went to snitch. As a result, he heard a group of male and female students shouting not far away, and the shouting of the PE teacher. He was so scared that he ran away quickly. Son Abayo refined the urine in his mouth. He recalled the scene he had seen at that time over and over again. The strength in his body was increasing step by step. He was very grateful to the West Mountain Old Lecher for turning him into an evil cultivator and allowing him to possess extraordinary skills. After cultivating, Son Abayo took off his raincoat and got into the driver's seat. He started the car and headed to a construction site. He found a construction site and worked there as a temporary worker. Because he was a heretic cultivator and had extraordinary strength, the foreman at the construction site admired him. This was also Son Abayo's livelihood. Every time he went to a city, he would find a construction site to work. He was an all-rounder. Not only did he know how to carry bricks, but he also dared to work high up in the sky. He dared to go high up in the sky where others did not dare to go. Old cranes and excavators were a piece of cake. In this world, there were many evil cultivators. They were all hidden in the crowd. They looked like ordinary people on the outside, but they were secretly doing some evil things. However, it was precisely because of this group of people that the reputation of evil cultivators was ruined. They were similar to evil cultivators, but they were not evil cultivators. They were looked down upon by the martial cultivators of the righteous sections. However, martial cultivators were not as powerful as them. To get rid of them, one still had to rely on evil cultivators. However, because Son Abayo had always been careful, he did not dare to hurt people even though he had strength. Therefore, he had never been listed as a wanted criminal by the Warrior Guild. When Xiao Chun returned to class, he saw that Yang Tan was not sitting in his seat for the first time. Instead, he was sitting in his own seat with his head lowered. His face was filled with defeat. Xiao Chun walked over and said, "Yang Tan, it's time for you to fulfill your bet, right?" Yang Tan's expression changed again and again. In the end he said, "I've already told Xiao Ins to leave, but he won't listen to me. I can't do anything about it. After all, we are not in the same organization." Xiao Chun laughed. "I knew you would say that. One look and I can tell that you are not a man who can keep his word. If that's the case, don't bet in the future. Your words are like farts." Yang Tan wanted to refute, but he could not find any reason to. He could only snort coldly and said, "Xiao Chun, you better think about the consequences of going against me. Don't think that I can't do anything about you now that you have left the Xiao family. At the end of the day, you are still a member of the Xiao family. When the time comes, the Xiao family, do as you see fit. Whatever. The Xiao family has nothing to do with me. I was kicked out. If they cared about me, I would have returned a long time ago," Xiao Chun said faintly. Yang Tan found that his threat seemed to have failed. After thinking about it, it seemed that it was indeed the case. Xiao Chun was kicked out of the Xiao family, and he did not leave by himself. It was impossible to say that he did not hate the Xiao family. If he dealt with the Xiao family, wouldn't it be equivalent to helping Xiao Chun? "Alright, Yang Tan. Everyone knows what's going on with you. Don't think too highly of yourself," Xiao Chun said. "If you have the ability, let Song Huawu sit with you. If you don't have the ability, then don't talk nonsense with me. Don't participate in the basketball game. Your skills are too bad, and your diving is too obvious. Letting you play is a disgrace. Xiao Chun, just you wait. One day, I will make you regret it." Yang Tan clenched his hands and stared fiercely at Xiao Chun. Of course, he was only threatening him verbally. So far, he had not found a good way to deal with Xiao Chun. This guy was impenetrable. He could not threaten him or beat him. He was completely a troublemaker. There was no other way. Xiao Chun ignored him, and directly ignored him. This made Yang Tan even angrier. He turned his hand back and slapped Xia Shibin's face. "Damn you idiot. Brother Yang, you can't blame me. You were so close to me just now. I accidentally hit the wrong person. Besides, didn't you hit yourself before?" Xia Shibin said weakly. "T, when did I hit myself?" Yang Tan said angrily. "Brother Yang, didn't you hit the other side of your face?" Xia Shibin hesitated and said, "Damn, I already said that it was Xiao Chun who hit me." Yang Tan was stunned and shouted angrily, "Oh, it was Xiao Chun." Xia Shibin quickly echoed. When Yang Tan saw Xia Shibin's look, he knew that Xia Shibin didn't believe him. He was very depressed. "This Xiao Chun's luck is really good. He hit me, and so many people didn't see it. It seems that this kid's basketball skills are not simple. At first glance, I can see that he is a veteran on the court. His small movements are also very skillful. He must have found a visual blind spot, so he was able to deceive everyone. It must be like this. Otherwise, Yang Tan really couldn't find any reason to let Xiao Chun succeed in front of everyone. It can't be that Xiao Chun is so powerful that even the physical education teacher spoke for him, right? This is completely unrealistic." When he saw that no one passed the ball to Xiao Chun, he knew that Xiao Chun's deterrence in the school wasn't big, so it couldn't be that everyone cheated for him. There was only one possibility, which was that Xiao Chun was particularly good at small movements. "Xia Shibin, you continue to investigate Xiao Chun for me. See if he has any weaknesses. I must take this person down. I heard that his relationship with the Chun family isn't good. If I can't take care of him, I will lose face." Yang Tan said fiercely, "Don't worry, Brother Yang. I have already investigated this kid. Everyone has a weakness. I am very good at this. This kid can't escape from my palm." Xia Shibin said. "N." Yang Tan nodded with satisfaction and said, "Be careful. Don't let him hold anything against you. These people in the secular world are particularly cunning. Brother Yang, this time it definitely won't happen. I was too careless last time. I thought that he didn't dare to challenge our Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xia Shibin said quickly. Last time, he was recorded by Lu Jinming. It was a great shame. Xiao Chun returned to his seat, and Song Huawu also came back. When she saw Xiao Chun, she said, I didn't see it. Xiao Chun, you are quite good at football. Even I didn't see what was going on with that small movement. Is it the method of you demonic cultivators to confuse the mind? But why were the people present deceived by you? Isn't it only the person involved who can be tricked? Yeah, I confused Xia Shibin to beat Yang Tan, so you saw it too. Xiao Chun said with a smile. Oh, before that, Yang Tan was beaten. Song Huawu was a little curious. He was also confused. He thought that he was beating me, but in fact, he was secretly beating himself. Said Xiao Chun. Oh, Song Huawu didn't pay attention to Yang Tan before, so she believed what Xiao Chun said. You have offended him again. He doesn't doubt you now, but if this goes on, he is not a fool. He will definitely doubt your strength. When your identity is exposed, I believe that with Yang Tan's character, he will never let you go. You're on your own. Don't try to be a hero again and put yourself in danger. I know what I'm doing. Xiao Chun said. Today, I haven't shown any strength that is higher than normal people. Yang Tan is also prejudiced. He shouldn't doubt me. Anyway, you have to be careful. Also, Xia Shibin is best at secret investigations. When you use your own identity to switch with White Fox's identity, you'd better be careful. Song Huawu reminded. He has already noticed you now. I'm afraid that he will discover your secret. Xiao Chen's heart trembled slightly. He suddenly remembered that night when he came out of Lin's house and was photographed. Could it be that Xia Shibin did it? But at that time, I didn't offend Xia Shibin and Yang Tan too much. Since then, has he begun to secretly investigate me? Chapter 416. Fortunately, he did it secretly. After leaving the hotel, he returned to his original appearance and did not show up as Yang Tan. Otherwise, if Xia Shibin saw it, he would be in big trouble. Why are there so many scum in your department? Xiao Chun was a little annoyed after hearing that. Yang Tan was so annoying that he had seriously interfered with his normal life. Not that many. It's just him. Song Huawu said. Look, I'm quite normal. That's true. Xiao Chun nodded. He was driven out of the Chen family when he was young and abandoned by Chen Huanling. His mind is a little twisted. He is not a normal person, so you don't have to look at him normally. Song Huawu said. Oh. Xiao Chun nodded and did not say anything more. Now there were more and more strange enemies. Sometimes he would be hated by these people just because of a strange reason. Xiao Chun was really helpless. He thought that he could investigate the mastermind behind the scenes at number 2 middle school with peace of mind. But now, the mastermind behind the scenes did not show up. Instead, more and more clowns appeared. Of course, in the eyes of Xiao Chun, these clowns were existences that he could only look up to in the past. But now it was not a big deal. When school was about to end, Xiao Chun went to the school parking lot first and waited for Cheng Minjing and Jean Beibei. Soon, they came out and got in Xiao Chun's car. Cousin-in-law, your basketball performance today was very cool. Cousin Minjing's eyes were full of stars. Jean Beibei said after getting in the car. Really? Xiao Chun smiled. Naturally, he would not believe Jean Beibei's words. What stars? He has always been good at basketball, even when he was in number 1 middle school. I don't want to see him. Cheng Minjing snorted. Oh, how do you know if she doesn't see him? Jean Beibei looked at Cheng Minjing with some doubts. I heard it from Jing Xian. Cheng Minjing said. Oh, Sister Jing Xian had been paying attention to my cousin-in-law since then? Jean Beibei was slightly stunned. Xiao Chun glanced at Jean Beibei and said nothing. He speculated that Jean Beibei seemed to know something, but the eldest lady was still in the dark. However, there were some things that he could not say out loud. Therefore, he could only snort. Other girls pay a lot of attention to me, my fiancé. Your cousin-in-law is the prince of basketball in #1 middle school after all. Your skin is so thick that it can be taken off, right? Chung Minjing glared at Xiaochen, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Xiaochen said, "Was it possible to take it off?" But he didn't say anything. They arrived at the Chung family. Xiaochen didn't expect that he could come to the Chung family again in such a short time. This time nobody stopped him. After parking the car, he got off the car with Chung Minjing and Jean Bebe. However, at this moment, the notification of his mobile phone rang. He picked it up and deliberately lagged behind. After glancing at the screen of the mobile phone, he was slightly shocked. Right at this moment, a Mercedes-Benz SLR sports car rushed over and stopped right in front of Xiaochen's Land Rover. After parking the car, the man directly turned off the engine without moving. It was obvious that he wanted to trap Xiaochen's car inside. The man who got off the car was Xiao En's. He looked at Xiaochen provocatively, raised his middle finger and scolded, "Idiot! You want me to leave Songning? Who do you think you are?" Obviously, Xiao En's had contacted Yang Tan and promised him to humiliate Xiao Chun at the family gathering in the evening. "Move the car." Xiao Chun glanced at Xiao En's and said lightly. Xiao En's glanced at Xiao Chun, turned around, and walked to Chung Minjing. "Minjing, you're back. I wanted to visit Grandpa Chung and Uncle Chung tonight. I didn't expect you to come back." "That's great." Chung Minjing frowned slightly. She didn't invite Xiao En's. This man came uninvited. It was impossible for him not to know that she would come home at night. She just didn't know where he got the news. It turns out to be Senior Qiao. Chung Minjing didn't hate Xiao En so much. However, when she saw him block Xiao Chen's car in the parking space, she suddenly felt that he was narrow-minded. "Xiao En's, if you don't move the car, you'll be responsible for the consequences." Xiao Chen said, "I'm going to pick up someone. If you have a move, you'll die if you don't." Xiao En said disdainfully. He did not believe that Xiao Chen could do anything to his car. Xiao Chen was not a martial artist. Even if it was a sports car, he would not be able to move it. He did it on purpose. Moreover, he did not intend to leave so easily. Even if it was at night, he planned to disturb the Chung family and suffocate him to death. "Xiao En's, my cousin-in-law is a transformer. You'd better move the car. Otherwise, the consequences might be serious." Jean Bebe looked at Xiao En's and said, "Is it serious?" "Whatever," Sheng En said indifferently. Xiao Chen got in the car and started it. The chassis of the Land Rover was high. After Xiao Chen started the car, he slammed on the accelerator and used the Imperial Object Primordial Energy to lift the front wheel of the car. As a result, Xiao Chen's car directly drove over Zheng En's sports car. In an instant, Xiao En's Mercedes-Benz SLR was deformed by Xiao Chen's car. Xiao En's was a little dumbfounded. What was going on? He had thought about it before. Xiao Chen's car was also a luxury car. Even if it wasn't as valuable as his car, this model of Land Rover would cost more than 3 million. Most importantly, in his opinion, Xiao Chen was a good-for-nothing young master who had been driven out by the Xiao family. It was impossible for him to afford this car. Therefore, the car must belong to Chung Minjing. Therefore, Xiao Chen definitely didn't dare to crash his car. In that case, he would also suffer losses. Moreover, if the car was damaged, how could Chung Minjing agree to it? However, who would have thought that Xiao Chen was so fierce? However, nothing happened to his car. He rode over directly, and his car was deformed by the weight. "Look, if you don't listen to Bebe, you'll suffer," Jean Bebe said to Xiao En's. F***CK. Xiao En's was furious. He directly stood in front of Xiao Chen's car. As a result, Xiao Chen stepped on the accelerator. With a bang, Xiao En's tumbled and then swaggered away. This Xiao En's was a martial artist at the peak of the 8th stage of inner strength. He couldn't be killed by the collision at all. However, Xiao En's was a little embarrassed. He got up from the ground and glared at Xiao Chun with some resentment in his eyes. He snorted and said, "Minjing, you were right to break off the engagement with this rude barbarian. This person is completely unreasonable. Your way of doing things is also inappropriate." Chung Minjing glanced at Xiao En's and said, No matter what, Xiaochen is my servant. Why did you block his car in front of him? Are you trying to show off to me? This of course not. With Xiao En's current identity and status, there was no need for him to bow and scrape to Cheng Minjing. However, first love was always unforgettable. He didn't want to get Cheng Minjing by that kind of high-handed means. He hoped that Cheng Minjing could fall in love with him naturally. Otherwise, with his current identity and status, which woman from ordinary aristocratic families couldn't he handle? However, this wasn't the feeling he wanted. In that case, let's forget about this matter. I don't want you to play these little tricks in the future, Cheng Minjing said. Okay, I got it. Xiao En's originally wanted to find a chance to teach Xiaochen a lesson. However, Cheng Minjing's words were already very obvious. One should look at the master before beating a dog. If he attacked Xiaochen, it would be a provocation to Cheng Minjing. So Xiao En's could only give up. He was pinned down by the car and knocked down for nothing. Then let's go in together, Cheng Minjing said. Okay. Xiao En's nodded quickly. However, Cheng Minjing was a little puzzled. Where did Xiaochen go? Why did he suddenly drive away? Was it because he was impulsive? When he saw that the car was blocked by Xiao En's, he ran over to vent his anger. Then, where did he go now? It seems that he drove out of the direction of the Cheng family. However, Xiao En's was on the side, so it wasn't appropriate for her to ask. She could only walk into the Cheng family's gate first. Xiaochen drove out of the Cheng family and quickly dialed Yu Xiaochuan's phone number. The message just now was sent by Yu Xiaochuan. There was only one sentence. Zhu Yingxiong is in trouble, requesting White Fox's help. The content of this message was a little vague. Logically, White Fox shouldn't know Zhu Yingxiong. At least, he didn't have any contact with him on the surface. However, why would Yu Xiaochuan tell me that he was in trouble? Although he sent the message with the tone of asking for help, there was no need to specifically indicate that Zhu Yingxiong was in trouble. As long as he said that his brother-in-law was in trouble, wouldn't it be more intuitive? It was easier for White Fox to understand than him saying that Zhu Yingxiong was in trouble. After all, White Fox might not know Zhu Yingxiong. Since his good buddy was in trouble, Xiaochen was naturally anxious. However, he couldn't use the identity of White Fox to make a call in front of Xiao En's and Cheng Minjing. Therefore, in a hurry, he could only run over Xiao En's car and hit him. Under normal circumstances, Xiaochen wouldn't be so irrational. This was equivalent to becoming enemies with Xiao En's. However, since his buddy was in trouble, he couldn't care so much. Yu Xiaochuan, what's the matter? Xiaochen asked directly after he answered the phone. White Fox hero, Zhu Yingxiong was beaten by someone. He's on the verge of death now. Medicine Master Sun has seen him, but there's nothing he can do. He can only use pills to keep him alive. You're experienced and knowledgeable. Can you help? Otherwise, my sister will become a widow. Although Yu Xiaochuan's personality had changed, his familial love wouldn't change. He still loved his sister very much and couldn't bear to see her sad. Where are you? I'll go over now, Xiaochen said immediately without hesitation. I'm still in my new villa. I've already talked to the guards. White Fox hero, you can just drive over directly, Yu Xiaochuan said hurriedly. All right, wait for me. Xiaochen accelerated the car and sped towards the Yu clan's mansion. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.